everybody? It is time for episode 10 of Fate Stay Night. That's right, we have made it to our 10th gameplay, commentary, read-along, blind reading, whatever the hell you want to call this. It's Fate Stay Night, part 10, part 8 of the Fate route, and I'm really excited because unfortunately, this has been taking me forever to get to, and I only have time to actually record one episode at the moment, but I'm hoping that potentially tomorrow, but very soon, I will be recording another episode. So I'm recording this on Thursday night. It's actually, I guess, technically 3 in the morning on Friday, which is why this will be going up on Saturday, because it takes Fate, for whatever reason, takes forever to render, so it's going to go up on Saturday. I post a different video, whatever, but this is actually being recorded very close to when it's going up. I'm very excited for this. Last episode was probably it felt like the most important episode. It felt like a lot of the conversations that Archer has had with Shiro finally clicked. The conversations that Saber has had with Shiro finally clicked. To some extent, I could say that with Rin, but I actually think the servants have had perhaps the best advice and the most important advice for Shiro in this story, and we just got to this great point where, unfortunately, through Shinji's awful actions, Emiya kind of figured out, I feel like he found the balance between the beliefs he's held going into this series and what he has to accept in this series, given the fact that you are in a situation that is not optimal, and you have to be realistic about what you can and can't do while still holding true to who you are. And I feel like in the compromise that he made in the last episode with Saber, finally realizing that I'm going to fight with you as opposed to I'm going to fight for you, yeah, that still might be a little unrealistic, but it's the type of unrealistic belief that a protagonist like this in a series like this needs to have to give a certain degree of it. Just I don't want to say likability, but it adds to, like, he's found the right balance now, right? Because he had such a very specific kind of almost holier than thou. I don't like to use that term, especially in this game. But he had a very strong take on everything. Man, I'm really struggling to formulate the words that I'm trying to say here. But you guys know, I've talked about this at length throughout the Let's Play. And in the last episode, everything clicked, and he seemed to realize just how serious this is, which sounds weird to say, but it isn't actually that weird, though, because when you think about it, he's only been worried about the thought of Saber dying. Because he doesn't worry about his own death. And so it makes sense now that I think he's really truly accepted that this is about a lot more people than just him and Saber, and I think that's really helped change his mindset. But obviously, Shinji did the most obvious heel turn of all time, and we had a fight with him and Shinji and Ryder, and it was awesome, and we used one of our command spells, which kind of sucks, and I think we're, dare I say it, maybe, possibly a sixth of the way through Fate, and halfway through the Fate route of Fate, because I think I don't know if I dare say halfway, but I feel like at this point we're actually making significant progress, and at this point I feel like we're deep enough in the route that I am of the assumption that the Fate route is just the first third of the story. The Unlimited Blade Works is the second third, and Heavensfield is the third. I'm assuming it's not like a route thing, it's just like, they are routes, but and why they're routes we'll have to see. I still think it's possible that we're switching characters. I don't think it's out of the question to say Rin's the protagonist of UBW and then God only knows Heavensfield. God, the Heavensfield protagonist might be a character we haven't even met yet. We still don't know who the master is in the school, the other master, besides Shinji, Tosaka, and Shiro. There is a fourth master in our school, who I kind of assume is the creepy teacher, but we're actually up to February 9th, which is crazy. So I'm really excited, so we'll have to see. This episode's called Skyscraper. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll try to do 2 days, and we'll see if that goes well. If not, we might only do 1, or we might have a weird cutoff, but I'm going to try to do 2 days, but it depends on how long the days are. I imagine we probably will be able to get through 2 days, though, because I feel like we've been moving at a better pace, and potentially just because I'm moving faster for some reason, or potentially because the game's pace has accelerated because we're finally getting into the good stuff, the action. I say that when in reality, I fucking love the exposition and the lore, and I think the lore has been one of the coolest things about this game. It really makes it immersive. It's one of the reasons why I really love visual novels. But anyways, let's just jump in. February 9th, Chapter 10, or Day 10. I'm going to just say Day 10, Skyscraper. I'm having a bad dream. My injured body wants to sleep deeply. But my mind is still buried in that scene, and I can't fall into a deep sleep. My still injured body is burning, and my mind that cannot mourn enough is still burning too. I might be having a nightmare. As I doze, I see a dream in my unclear mind. How many victims were there? Tosaka said nobody died, but that is only from the outside. Having had their life sucked out by force, there will certainly be after effects. Long-term physical disabilities and mental damage from lack of oxygen. There were even students that had their skin melted. That scar is something that will stay with them for the rest of their lives, even if it heals. Yeah, that's fair. My body hurts, and that's another thing, is that even though he was able to save everyone's lives, it's debatable whether he truly saved everyone. It really depends on what your definition of saving someone is, and given who Shiro is, being the ally of justice that he is, I'm not necessarily sure he would consider this saving anyone, especially given the hell that he's seen once before, because he did liken the Blood Fort Andromeda to the hellscape that he saw as a kid 10 years ago at the end of the last Holy Grail War. My almost dead, no, my absolutely dead body convulses. It was unfortunate for everyone involved, but you still did well. Wait, what? You were able to stop the disaster in exchange for a wound you would normally die from. Okay, he's just talking to himself, it seems like. So there's nothing to mourn or to be ashamed of. The pain tells me to quietly fall asleep for now. No, I can't deceive myself with such reasoning. It makes no difference to the fact that the disaster occurred while I was there, but I couldn't do anything. I say I saved lives, but at the same time, I couldn't save anybody. If that was just a mistake, if it had never happened, I bet my mind and my body could go to sleep peacefully. I'm pissed off. It's ridiculous for my mind to grumble about such a thing. There are no miracles like that. It's a great insult to want to go back and redo things just because I think they're inconvenient and disastrous. It's impossible to take something that has already happened and make it so that it didn't happen. It's impossible. And more importantly, it shouldn't be done. That's why I can't pretend the event didn't happen. There's only one thing I can do. If I hate the scene I still see even now, I should just act to prevent it from ever happening again. Sleep ends here. My body comes later. If my body moves, get up and run. If no one getting hurt is the ideal I aim for, I should do so until the point of my death. That actually was quite poetic. Here we go. I open my eyes. I take a deep breath and draw air into my lungs. Oops. The cold winter air takes away my drowsiness and uneasiness. Habit is a great thing. It's only a bit past 6 o'clock. Maybe my body has healed quite well already as I'm awake at my usual time.
Yes.
I get up and fold up the futon. During that normal action, a sharp pain runs through my left arm as if there's a crack in my bone.
そりゃそうだよな。さすがにまだ治りきってないから。
I mean, you could always hope for the best, to be fair. But all that's left is this pain. It's much better than when I got my stomach slashed by Berserker Bazaka a few days ago. At that time, my body was so weak that the nausea was worse than the pain. I go out into the hallway. The sunlight is gloomy and offers no energy. The weather is very cloudy, like it's going to rain.
シロ、目が覚めたのですか？
ああ、今目が覚めた。そういうセイバーこそ今朝は早いんだな。いつもならまだ眠ってる時間じゃないか。
Yeah, it's unusual for Saber to be awake before breakfast is ready.
シロ、私とて好きで眠っているわけではありません。私が朝食まで眠っているのは単に魔力を温存するためだと言ったはずです。いかにも普段から寝過ごしているという物言いはやめてほしい。
Yeah, that makes it sound like she's a slacker, and she does not appreciate that, especially being raised as a knight and being really anything but.
なんでさ、別にそんなつもりで言ってないぞ、俺。
It's important for her to make that you make the clarification, so you might as well do it.
単にこんな早起きしていいのかって思っただけだ。
Yeah, he was trying to worry about you, though. That might actually get a blush out of her.
おう、そうですか。私が早起きするのはおかしいと。
Saber sounds cranky. Is it just me? Seems Saber is stricter today, or should I say she's unreserved?
いや、おかしいとかじゃなくていいのかなって。
Well, I think they bonded, and now Saber's... Saber and Shiro, I think their relationship's evolving.
セイバーが頻繁に眠らなくちゃいけないのは俺のせいだ。だから今朝もできる限り眠っていないといけないんじゃないのか。
当然です。ですが、それはあくまで待機状態に過ぎません。私が眠っていたのは緊急時に備えてのもの。今の状態で眠るのは道理にかなわないではないですか。
Fair enough.
道理にかなわないってなんで？別に今は誰とも戦ってないし、襲われてもいないぞ。
いえ、ですからそれは。
Damn, she can't argue with that. Saber is unclear as if there's something she doesn't want to say.
いいけど、今は緊急ってわけじゃないんだし、出かけるまで眠っていた方がいい。朝飯ができたら呼びに行くから、それまで力を温存しといてくれ。今日一日、セイバーの力を借りることになるんだから。
Interesting. Are we just doing our normal training or something else? I head towards the kitchen.
待ってください、シロ。
Yeah, what's up?
なんだよ、セイバー。他に何か。
あなたは今何をすると言いましたか？
I gasped without realizing. Even though she's asking me a question, Saber glares at me as if not letting me answer. Yeah, I wonder if she's like, what the hell, you can't train while you're hurt like this? Is that the implication?
そもそもあなたは安静にしなければいけない体でしょ。
Oh, they're playing this theme. This is honestly a contender for my favorite OST from this game so far. Dude, I can't even imagine if we get entirely like new themes for Unlimited Blade Works and Heavensfield, that's gonna be so hot. But I'm also going to want the old themes because, of course, we're gonna be taking a break after each route because it's essentially 3 games. Like I said, I'm treating this as a trilogy. That would be so hot because it'll have been a while and I'll really want to hear the Fate route themes, but also like the soundtrack's been so good that I kind of want to hear like a extended soundtrack with more new songs. But this is such a good theme. For a while I thought this was Archer's theme, but it kind of just plays at certain points.
朝食の支度など凛がします。シロが優先すべきことは部屋で休み 体を癒すことです。それが分かっていないとは言わせません。
If I ever started using OSTs for like background noise while I talk, Fate would definitely join Ace Attorney, as most of the ones I would use would be Ace Attorney, but I would definitely throw in some Fate OST, because I like to use video game OSTs.
Saber.
Saber sounds strict because she's concerned about my body.
部屋に戻ってください、シロ。眠りが必要なのは私ではなくあなたの方です。
Fair. She might be able to read my mind as she glares at me even harder. But still, I can't let Shinji go.
いや、部屋には戻らない。もう十分休んだし、やらなくちゃいけないことがあるだろう。準備ができたら街に出よう、セイバー。今日中にシンジを捕まえるんだ。
Fair enough.
なぜですか？今日中にライダーのマスターを捕らえる理由などありません。戦うのならシローの傷が癒えてからにするべきです。それからでも遅くはないでしょう。
That's fair.
それは違う、セイバー。順番で言うなら俺の体なんて後回しだ。
She's gonna push back on that.
そんな暇はないんだ。シンジのやつが何をするかはお前だってわかるだろう。またあんな結界を張られる前にあいつからライダーを切り離す。
I mean, that's true.
サーバ
Oops.
昨日のような犠牲者を出したくないというのですか？ライダーのマスターを倒すのではなく、ただそれだけのために戦うと。
I think that's something that Saber can get behind.
そんなことはない。シンジには責任を取らせる。そのためにはライダーを倒さなくちゃいけないだけだ。それに犠牲者を出さないために行動するなんていうのは当たり前だろ。そんなこと戦う理由以前の問題だ。
And these are the really cool traits about Shiro's character.
そうですか。マスターがそう言うのなら私は従うだけですが。
And in the end, that's all Saber really needs to say. She doesn't need to elaborate on her actual feelings on that any further. There's really no point.
シンジを探す？別に文句はないけど、ちゃんと勝ち目があって言ってるんでしょうね、シロ。
I mean, it seems like Shiro, if he can hit the hammer in his head the same way, he obviously could kick Shinji's ass and kill Shinji or beat Shinji, and Saber seems to be able to handle Ryder. The only thing about Ryder is her actual Noble Phantasm, which I don't know what it is. The giant arrow of light. I imagine it's some crazy thing that she was riding on, given she's Ryder, but... After breakfast, Tosaka reacts as soon as I declare that I can't let Shinji go.
勝ち目ってシンジに対してか？
そうよ。前もって言っとくけど、賞賛もないくせに他のマスターに手を出す気だった。なんて言ったら笑うわよ。
That's actually a really fair. I mean, based on how the first fight with Ryder and Shinji went, I absolutely think Shiro and Saber can take them. The only concern seems to be the Noble Phantasm, because Saber is clearly stronger than Ryder, and again, as long as Shiro can lock in the way he did and flip his switch or hit the nail with his hammer or whatever, he could clearly beat Shinji. Damn it. Now that she says that, I've only thought about stopping Shinji and never about how to do so.
ちょっと、エミヤくん、本気？
すまん。笑ってくれ。
But yeah, as far as the specifics of how you set up the altercation, that's a whole nother story.
うわぁ、悪いけど笑えないわ、今の冗談。
It really isn't, to be honest. Ugh. If she reacts like that, she'll make me realize how stupid I am.
セイバー、あんたのマスターはこんなんだけど、あなた自身はどうなの？ライダーと戦うことに異論はないわけ？
ライダーと戦うだけならば問題はありません。彼女の能力は確認済みです。それはシロー本人も分かっていると思います。何しろライダーと直接対峙したのですから。
Yeah, I mean, he clearly couldn't beat Ryder, but he was actually able to survive Ryder.
ああ、そうだっけ。なら、シローにもライダーがどの程度かは分かっているんだ。
Rin would probably stand a pretty good chance. I mean, she wouldn't win, but... Tosaka inquires with her eyes. She must be asking about Ryder's strength. Certainly I have a grasp of it. I don't know if it's because I have a contract with a servant or because of my command spell. But even though she's not my servant, if I see her fight, I can put numbers to her abilities. Ha 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 ha. Ryder herself wasn't a superior servant.
ライダーはセイバーほど強くない。1対1の戦いならまず負けはしないと思う。
Mm-hmm.
そうなんだ。なら、ちゃんと勝算はあるんじゃない。シンジは魔術師じゃないから、ライダーはマスターからの支援を受けられない。必然的にセイバーとライダーの一騎打ちになるものね。
That's how you would draw it up anyways. Just like Tosaka says. As long as Shinji is her master, Ryder has to fight by herself. There should be no disadvantage for Saber.
何よ、気の乗らない顔して。何か問題でもあるっていうの？
It's her Noble Phantasm.
ああ、いいか登坂。それだけ戦力的に上回ったセイバーに追い詰められていたのに、ライダーはシンジを連れて逃げ延びたんだ。あれはライダーの宝具だったと思うんだが。
Yep. The arrow of light that trampled through the hallway. A wave of destruction that would have surely disintegrated my body without trace if Saber didn't knock me aside. If that was Ryder's secret move, we can't be optimistic, even if Ryder herself is relatively weak. No, more than not being optimistic, I feel like we shouldn't even challenge her.
つまり、ライダーはライダー本人より所有する宝具の方が優れてるタイプってわけね。
Yeah, she's not a crazy fighter, but she has a crazy trump card.
で、セイバー、シローはともかく、あなたならライダーの宝具が何であるか分かったんじゃない？目の前で使われたんだから見当ぐらいはついてるんでしょ？
I have no clue. Giant arrow of light? Rider? Like, no idea.
面目ありません。白を守ることに精一杯で、私もあれが何であるか確認することはできなかった。
Yeah, we didn't really, because that's the thing, we're calling it a giant arrow of light, but we really don't know what it was.
そんなことに気を割いていたら、私も白もあの一撃に巻き込まれていたでしょう。
Yeah, it's a type of Noble Phantasm that's either going to kill you or you're not going to survive it. Now, what's interesting, again, when I go to Ryder, it references, so this is on her Noble Phantasm page, and it references the Blood Fort Andromeda. Now, if I was to go to Saber, right? This, and there's a bunch of details on the Noble Phantasm, which is her sword, right? But, and obviously, like, Lancer's is Gay Bulge. And right, it's the weapon, but it's interesting that, at least according to the status menu, Ryder's Noble Phantasm is the Blood Fort. So, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if there's a disconnect between me and the characters, or if they haven't put together that the Blood Fort was actually her Noble Phantasm. But what it does is it allows her to absorb a absurd amount of magical energy, and she just unleashed it into an attack. But the attack itself wasn't her Noble Phantasm, it was actually the Blood Fort.
巻き込まれたって、何？ライダーの宝具って飛び道具なの？
Like I said, I think, like, again, based on it having such a cool name and based on everything, I'm assuming her Noble Phantasm is the Blood Fort based on the status screen.
それに近いものでした。分類的にはリンの使う魔術に近い。あれは私の剣やランサーの槍のような対人宝具ではないのでしょう。
私の魔術に近いってそれこそ変よ。セイバーの対魔術は神業じゃない。現代の魔術じゃまずあなたに傷を負わせることはできない。そのあなたが交わさなくちゃいけない魔術なんて、それは。
Yeah?
はい。神秘はより強い神秘の前に無効化される。
Huh.
私の鎧を通ることができる神秘はあなたたちの言う魔法か神域に住む幻想種だけです。
魔法使い。ライダーは魔術師だっていうの？セイバー。
Yeah, it's a thing. She has magic, and it's interesting how they magic and sorcery. I know the actual words they're using because it was maho for sorcery, I believe. So maho means magic. So obviously there's a little translation there, and I think these were all explained to me, like the whole Ally of Justice thing. Just some of the pseudo mistranslations in this fan translation of the game and stuff, but or whatever.
それほどの魔力は感じませんでした。
Yeah, it would make sense, but you would assume that the only Magus would most likely be Caster.
彼女はライダーです。魔法使いがいるとすれば、それはキャスターだけでしょう。ライダーの宝具はおそらく別のものだと思います。
Yeah, Caster is where we get fucking Merlin or something, right? Like Caster would be where we get a actual magician. Tosaka gives a relieved sigh at Saber's answer, but I don't quite get it.
Saber, お前の鎧っていうの
What are
は
other famous
そんなに硬いものなのか。魔法でなければ通らないなんて言うけど、それならランサーのゲイボルクは魔法ってことになるが。
It's different. Oops.
ええ、確かにランサーのゲイボルクは魔法に近い呪いですが、リン、シローに説明してあげてくれますか？
It's still a physical weapon, so it's different.
私？まあいいけど。要するにシローはセイバーは魔法じゃないと傷つかないと勘違いしているわけね。
She has godlike resistance to magic, but that doesn't mean she can't be hurt by physical objects, even if they do involve a curse almost like magic in the case of Gaybolg.
あ、いや、別にそういうわけじゃないけど、ただそんなに頑丈な鎧ならすごいなって思っただけだ。
そりゃすごいわよ。セイバーに限らずサーバントってのはみんな英霊なのよ。霊体ってこともあるけど、まっとうな手段じゃ傷一つつけられない。サーバントはそれ自体が神秘だから。
Shoutouts to the Holy Grail!
物理的な手段でサーバントを傷つけられるのは同じ英霊であるサーバントだけ。逆に言えばサーバント同士ならただのペーパーナイフでもセイバーを傷つけることはできる。
Huh.
相手がサーバントならセイバーの鎧もそう鉄壁ってわけじゃないってことか。
そうね。けどセイバー自身接近戦の技量が優れているから白兵戦ではまずセイバーに傷は負わせられない。
Skilled in combat's an understatement.
残った手段は遠距離からの攻撃、魔術っていう飛び道具になるわけだけど、セイバーは騎士のくせにとんでもない対魔力を持ってるから大抵の魔術は弾かれてしまうのよ。
And basically, Rin is explaining why Saber is really amazing and just like the best class
バ
pretty
ッドラッ
much.
クに代表される呪いなんてまず届かないし、魔力を矢として放つ直接干渉も効かない。セイバーを倒したかったら真正面からの切り合いで彼女を任さなくちゃダメってわけ。
And that's not a great idea either. Saber is listening quietly to Tosaka's explanation. She probably is not interrupting because it's all true.
なんだよ、そんなのインチキだ。
Yeah, she's broken.
剣技で叶わないから魔術で勝負するっていうのに、魔術そのものがセイバーに効かないならどうしろって言うんだ。
That's why she's the best card in the deck. Of course, in this particular Holy Grail War, Berserker is absolutely busted out his ass, but...
なんか不公平だぞ、その話。
そうね。 けどそのセイバーだって白兵戦で絶対に負けないというわけでもないでしょ。
Of course.
バーサーカーは力だけならセイバーを上回ってるし、ランサーだって白兵戦において必殺の槍を持ってる。
Probably the biggest threats, yes.
今話してるライダーだってセイバーを出し抜くほどの宝具を持ってたんだから、セイバーも完璧ってわけじゃないわ。
Yeah, there are means. It's not impossible for anyone to win the Holy Grail War. If you have a heroic spirit that's good enough to be a heroic spirit summoned by the Holy Grail, you have a chance. But yes, some people have better chances than others, depending on their own abilities and certainly the abilities of their servant and the class of their servant.
私たちだってセイバーを倒す方法はあるもの。 単にセイバーの耐え魔力を上回る魔術を持ってくるか、サーバントが使っている武器を借りて寝ている間に首を切るとか。サーバントの武器ならサーバント自身と同じ霊格なんだから傷をつけることは可能なはずよ。
That's really dark to say that. Jesus Christ. I get your point, but like, fuck, Rin. You gonna try to kill Saber in her sleep? You would do that in like a super yandere way. You're gonna be the real yandere and not Shinji. Shinji saw the yandere inside you all along. Although, to be honest, that probably isn't that far off. It's a scary example, but I understand. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying there, Shiro. Hold on, Tosaka. You can't talk like that in front of Saber herself.
そうなんだ。じゃあライダーの宝具が特別優れてるってわけじゃなくて、サーバントの攻撃だからセイバーも守りに徹したってことなのか。
わけないでしょ。セイバーが守りに徹するのならライダー自身じゃ何をしたって追い詰めることなんて不可能よ。ライダー本人がそう優れた英霊じゃないのなら、彼女が宝具を使ったところでたかが知れているし。そうでしょセイバー。ライダーの宝具はライダー自身の能力とは関係のない武器なのよね。
There's something else at play here.
おそらくライダーの技や魔力に頼らない自動的な武装、宝具そのものに効果があるものだと思います。魔術か幻想種か、どちらにせよあの魔法陣から放たれたものは圧倒的でした。直撃を受けた場合、生き延びられるサーバントなどいないでしょう。
Yeah, it was like a pseudo summoning almost. There was that. It looked like a weird spider thing in the symbol, and then a creepy eye.
そうなの？数値的にどれくらい？
あなたたち風に言うのなら A プラスといったところでしょうか。私個人の推測に過ぎないので断定はできませんが。
A プラス？何それ？魔法一歩手前じゃない。
Okay, so S is considered sorcery. Okay. So that. Yeah, I mean, A plus is as far as it goes. Does A fill the bar? Yeah, A fills the bar. Yeah, he has A plus agility. He's an agile fuck. Yeah, there actually is no S here. A plus is the highest we've seen anything, any stat go for any person, which is Berserker's Strength, Assassin's Agility, and Rider's Noble Phantasm.
そんなの使われてよく学校が吹っ飛ばなかったってもんだわ。
Also a fair point.
単純に破壊するだけの宝具というわけではないのでしょう。もともとは他の用途がある宝具なのではないでしょうか。
そう。だとしても厄介ね。セイバーの話じゃ A 判定どころじゃないし、瞬間的な攻撃力ならサーバント中最高ってことになるのかしら。
Potentially.
まあ確かに攻守ともに優れた宝具のようでしたが。
Wow.
それより私の宝具の方が。
That's like the first time I think we've ever seen Saber make that face. Kind of a little bit of yandere action there with those glassy eyes. Saber comments to Tosaka, who goes into pondering. What is it? Saber doesn't seem to be enjoying this conversation.
セイバー、遠坂の意見なんか引っかかるところでもあるのか。
あ、いえ、 別にそういうわけではないというか、ええ、本当はどちらが強いかなど追求するのは騎士にあるまじき行いというか。
Damn, she's like, I'm the best. What the fuck? She's acting suspiciously. Saber mumbles on as if she's ashamed of what she's saying.
まあいいけど、それよりさ、さっき妙なことを言ってなかったか？セイバーとランサーのは対人宝具とかなんとか。
Yeah, they're designed for fighting a person.
対人宝具ですか？いえ、言葉通りの意味ですが、私の風王結界やランサーのゲイボルクはあくまで人を倒すための武装です。
Yep.
いかに強力な魔力、呪いを帯びていたところで、その用途は対人の域を出るものではありません。
Which is obviously different from an anti-army Noble Phantasm like Riders. Well, that is true. Saber's invisible sword is certainly an advantage in battle. That is only in the case of man versus man. There would be no difference in speed even if you used an invisible sword to chop wood. Lancer's Gaebolg is the same. Even with a cursed lance that will strike the heart, if the opponent is a rock or a house, it is no more than a strong lance.
なるほど。だから対人の宝具ってことなのか。
Yeah, that was pretty easy to figure out, Shiro. I'm surprised you need an explanation for what an anti-personnel Noble Phantasm would be referring to.
ならライダーの宝具は
大軍宝具ってことになるわね。
Yep.
そういえば父さんに聞いたことがあったわ。宝具には対人に優れたもの、大軍に優れたものがあるって。簡単に言って、対人宝具は弾数制限のない拳銃で、大軍宝具ってのは一発限りのミサイルってことね。
That's a good way to put it, actually.
ライダーの宝具は強力だけど、その分使用にかなりの制限があるんじゃないかしら。少なくともセイバーの剣みたいにいつも見えないなんて永続的な宝具じゃない。
Hold on. A gun would be no match for a missile. It's true that Saber's invisible sword is an awesome sword, but it'll be blown away before she could swing it against such a ridiculous Noble Phantasm.
つまりライダーと戦うのなら宝具を使われる前に倒せってことか。
Yeah, that is exactly the case.
でしょうね。宝具の打ち合いになったら勝ち目はない。ライダーとシンジを探すって言うんなら、それだけは頭に入れておきなさい。大前提としてライダーが宝具を使う前に倒すこと。
Yep.
戦いを長引かせれば長引かせるだけこっちが不利になるから。
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
もしくは私が戦っている間にライダーのマスターを倒せばいい。
Yeah.
あのマスターに戦闘手段はないのだから、そちらの方が確実かもしれません。
Yeah, that all seems like a good plan to me. I mean, on the basic level, but you know Shinji and Ryder are going to be prepping. That's the conclusion. We don't know what Ryder's Noble Phantasm is, and additionally, it is too powerful. As we have no countermeasure, we can only beat her before she has a chance to use it. So whatever the Noble Phantasms of the other servants are, we cannot compete in Noble Phantasms against Ryder.
忠告助かったよ、遠坂。
Yep.
俺たちは真珠を探しに行くけど、遠坂はどうする？留守番していてくれるか？
そうね。あなたたちがそう言うなら私たちもシンジを探してもいいんだけど、まあやめとくわ。
Alright.
敵はライダーだけじゃないし、私たちはもともとバーサーカーを倒すために手を組んだんだしね。
Fair enough.
シローがシンジを追っている間、私は私でやることがあるから。
Tosaka stands up with a cold smile on her face, and I immediately am so concerned.
それじゃあね。いい結果を期待しているわ。
Yeah, if Saber and Shiro are able to take out Shinji and Ryder, and you know Tosaka does whatever she does, that's good shit. If Saber and Shiro could take out one of the servants without any assistance from Rin and Archer, that would be fantastic. Leaving Tosaka at home, I leave with Saber. It's 7:30 in the morning. The hill is really quiet. Students usually go to school at this time, but not many people are around today.
学校は休校だそうですね。
That makes sense.
死者が出なかったとはいえ、大半の生徒は未だ立ち上がれる体ではないということですか。
I mean, even if the students were in better shape than that, you probably wouldn't want to have school until you could fix that fucking destruction anyways. Or at least, you know, somewhat fix it.
重度の栄養失調みたいなもんだからな。まともに動けるようになるまで何日かはかかるだろう。
But those are the lucky ones. Transformation of the skin, necrosis of the tips of the limbs. Ugh. I hear there were even students on the verge of blindness. Jesus Christ.
タイガも病院に運ばれたと聞きます。見舞いに行かずともいいのですか、シロ。
Yeah, not on top of everything else, she got fucking kicked by Shinji like a little bitch.
ああ、
Shinji's the
藤
little
姉のは
bitch.
ただの疲労だと。心配しなくてもいいから真面目に家で勉強してろとさ。
There's no way she's a master, right? Like, it's really weird because she was, of all the people, she was the one that handled it the best. And I have been assuming that the master was scary teacher guy. But could it actually be Fujimura sensei? Like, that would be fucking crazy. But Fujine seems... I don't know. I called the Fujimura house and checked on Fujine's state before I left the house. I would like to go visit her, but I should hold off on that for now.
では探索に専念するのですね。それはいいのですが、シロに当てはあるのですか。
Especially because that would mean Fujimura is actually an amazing actor, and part of her being an amazing actor is seeming like a horrible actor. Because you would think she'd be the last person to be able to hide all of that, especially given all the stuff going on at our house and just all the weirdness and stuff.
私はサーバントの気配を読み取れますが、それも近づかなければわかりません。何か手がかりがなければ、探し出すのは難しいのではないでしょうか。
ああ、確かにシンジが何もせずに隠れていた場合、探し出すのは難しいだろう。けど、あいつの性格から言って、昨日の今日でおとなしくしているとは思えない。
Yeah, he's definitely gonna want revenge. Shinji's not the type to stop when he's beaten. He's the kind of guy that'll take revenge, exactly.
では、ライダーのマスターは再び結界を張ろうとすると。
間違いなくな。俺と同じで、あいつはサーバントに魔力を提供できない。
Yeah, and if you can
俺たちに復讐しようとするなら、まず魔力を貯めないといけないだろう。
And if you can find them before Shinji and Ryder are too far along in that, they're really going to have no defense because she's not going to be able to just absorb a bunch of shit from the blood fort.
なら、見つけ出すのはそう難しくはないんじゃないか。
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
ライダーのマスターを探すのではなく、結界を探すのですね。
Find the boundary field, find Shinji.
ああ、マスターの感知はできなくても、あれだけの結界なら近づけばわかる。それに、場所も特定できるだろう。
That makes sense to me.
大きな建物で、人がたくさん集まるところを当たっていけばいい。
驚いた。やりますね、シロ。
Oh, wow. It's like, wow, I'm surprised. You're actually being kind of smart.
俺だって考えなしってわけじゃないぞ。探し出せる自信がなかったら、こんなことは言い出さないよ。
Fair enough. Yes, I'm confident. There's the matter of the boundary field, but there's more meaning in us walking around. Just as I can't leave Shinji alone, I bet Shinji doesn't intend to let us go either. Okay, going to Shinji's house. Just to be sure, we go to Shinji's house. I have Saber check for the presence of Ryder. The result is negative. Well, he's not the kind of guy that would be resting at home.
行こう。シンジが結界を張るとしたら、こっちの町じゃなくてシントの方だ。オフィス街のビルを総当たりしていこう。
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Calling out to Saber, I leave the Mato house.
いいのですか、シロ。ここはさくらの家なのでしょう。
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
立ち寄ったのですから、声をかけては。 それぐらいは余裕があると思いますが。
I'm surprised Saber is saying that, though. I'm certainly worried about Sakura. According to Tosaka, Sakura was just weakened. Fortunately, she didn't have any external wounds, but that says a lot. I was curious about whether Sakura was there or if Shinji was protecting her. It doesn't seem like it. But if I can, I want to see her and take care of her since she has always taken care of me. But...
やめておく。この戦いが終わるまでは、桜と会って戦いに巻き込むわけにはいかないからな。
I think that's very fair, but Shinji did kind of involve her in this. Indirectly, I guess, but still. And most of all, I can't go and see Sakura if I'm to fight Sakura's brother soon, that's fair. If the worst comes to the worst and I have to kill Shinji, I'll never be able to face her. So I shouldn't leave any lingering affections. I think that's the best course I can take, and I also believe it is for Sakura's best as well. Honestly, it might be for the best if you kill Shinji. For Sakura. Jesus Christ. We go to every building we spot. Yeah, this day is called Skyscraper. We went through all the larger ones first, but there's no findings yet. Wiping the sweat off my brow, I move my heavy limbs. Trying to calm my breathing, I stand still for a while and take a deep breath.
シロ、何か異常でもあり。
Oh?
シロ、こちらへ。
Oh?
ちょっと待って。そっちは公園だぞ。こっちにはまだ見てない建物が残って。
Okay.
それは後にしてください。今はこちらが最優先です。
Yeah? Something must have caught her attention. She speaks strictly and pulls me towards the park. Oh, we're going to the death park.
セイバー、どうしたんだよ。こんなところまでやってきて。ここには何もない。そんなのセイバーにだってわかるだろう。
いいですから、そこのベンチに座ってください。話はその後で聞きます。
Okay. Stared down by Saber, I reluctantly sit down on that bench. And then... I almost faint. I hold my face with one hand. My forehead is sweaty and my breath is out of control even though I'm sitting down. Hold on. Why am I sweating in the middle of winter?
おかしいな。こんなに疲れてたのか。
Maybe he's overworking himself. He's pushing himself way too hard given everything that he went through yesterday. As soon as I ask myself that, I finally realize the state of my body. I'm not tired. This is just my unhealed wound aching. That makes sense. He is pushing himself way too hard. Ridiculous. No matter how deep the breaths I take are, I can't catch my breath. My body is heavy and my legs refuse to stand up.
ようやく自分の体に気がついたようですね、シロ。
Yeah, he's a really tough guy. You know, for all the things you could say about Shiro, he's a tough motherfucker, and he's the type that likes to power through things. So it makes sense that, you know, the adrenaline and just everything that he feels like he needs to do. But it is, if he wants to succeed at all these things, he does need to heal up. Saber is angry, and rightfully so. It's only natural. It does no good when the one who suggested the idea of searching for Shinji is just resting on a bench. No, that's not why she's upset.
すまん。すぐ動けるようにするから、しばらく待ってくれ。
Yeah, you
私が注意
idiot.
しているのはそんなことではありません。
Fucking dumbass.
どうやらあなたには何を言っても無駄のようですね。
Sometimes it kind of is useless. I understand that Saber is angry. I understand, but I don't quite get what she's so angry about, because you're a dumbass sometimes, Shiro.
ちょっとセイバー、きちんと言ってくれないと何が言いたいのかわからないんだが。
わからないのなら語る必要はないでしょ。
That is such a fucking Rin line.
いいですから、シロはそこで休んでいてくださ
She's
い。
gradually picking up a little bit of Tosaka's sass.
一人で休むのが嫌なら、私もお付き合いしますから。
Saying that, Saber sits next to me as a storm is brewing. The bench isn't that large. Saber is sitting so close to me that I could touch her shoulder if I leaned over a bit.
いや、待てってセイバー。休んでる暇なんてないだろう。 俺たちは遊びに来たんじゃなくて。
Bro, she will kick your ass if you don't rest and try and heal up.
遊びになど来ていません。休憩も戦いのうちです。文句を言うのでしたら、まずその呼吸を整えてからにしてください。
Fair.
いや、呼吸を整えろって、お前。
It's true that my body is tired and I can't breathe properly, but if you're this close, my heart starts jumping and...
シロ、人の話を聞いていますか？今まで体に無理をさせてきたのですから、まずは肩の力を抜いて落ち着いてください。気が散っていては体が休まらないのですから。
Yeah, the problem is he can't calm down when he's thinking about how fucking beautiful you are and being a simp like Shiro likes to be at times.
いや、だから。
If she wants me calm, why doesn't she get away from me? I don't know what Saber thinks, but for me, she's a girl of around my age. Well, she's actually younger, but she's still a girl nonetheless. And I guess technically she's also way older, so I guess you get all your kinks in one. And on top of that, she's unrealistically beautiful. I don't know what kind of a guy would be able to calm down with her next to him.
シロ、気のせいでしょうか。先ほどより顔色が悪くなってきた気がするのですが。
It's because the what blood he does have in him is flowing to one specific location, and you don't want to know where.
そんなことない。動揺なんてしてないぞ、こっちは。
That's not what she said.
それならいいのですが、やはり横になった方がいいのでしょうか。この辺り。
Oops. Saber looks around. Hey, why is there a guy using his lover's thighs as a pillow in this desolate park? Excuse me. And it seems Saber was looking at the couple and thinking, yo, no way. No
シ
way.
ロ、気分が悪
ReZero?
いのでしたら横に。
ReZero time?
大丈夫、おとなしくしてればすぐに落ち着くから。余計な心配はしなくていい。しなくていいから当分ほっといてくれ。
Oh man, that's actually so adorable how Shiro's like trying to talk his way out of it before the cogs turn too far in Saber's head. Looking away from Saber, I close my eyes so I won't see her. Calm down. Try to ignore Saber, who is sitting next to me. All I have to do now is to keep on breathing deeply and... Bro, is she gonna like grab his head and... Bro, are we gonna about to get a CG? Oh. The fire died down after one night. Okay, so he fell asleep, it looks like. The red fiery walls were gone. There was a burnt field all around me, and the blackened woods were smoldering with the sounds of sparking. As I lay there, I think that it sounds like a small firework. The sky starts to cloud up. It would rain soon, and the fires should soon stop. I was looking up blankly at the sky with a body that was even having difficulty breathing. There are only burned corpses around me. I have burns all over my body, and there's a bad burn across my chest. My open chest. I feel like I could grab my heart if I put my fingers into the inflamed chest. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, I didn't fall because I was tired. My numb body wasn't kind enough to be able to rest just because it was tired. I fell because I think my wounds made me unable to move my arms or legs. So I was manly and did not panic. I knew I would not be saved, and I wasn't scared because everyone around me had died the same way. I just looked up at the clouding sky and watched myself as I grew thinner. But still, with my dazed consciousness, I thought to seek help as long as I was alive, and I reached out my hands. God, that's such a great anime trope, the reaching out your hand toward the sky thing. I will always and forever think of Steins Gate, but still need to play the visual novel on the note of being in the middle of a LP, and I will do that one day, but I always think of Steins Gate, but it's come up in a bunch of things that we've checked out on the channel. Wait, something's weird. I shouldn't remember a burning feeling in my chest. Oh no. Jesus
I wake up suddenly.
I open my shirt and check my body.
傷なんてないし。
There's no scar in my chest. I almost died because of the lack of oxygen from the burn after all, and I didn't have any fatal wounds. If I had taken something like that, I bet even Kiritsugu wouldn't have been able to save me. Oh. Was that possibly foreshadowing? Is that possibly something that's going to happen down the line? No, more importantly...
夜になってる。俺寝ちまってたのか、セイバー。
はい。よく眠っているようでしたので起こしませんでしたが、その会話あったようですね。先ほどに比べてシローの顔色は良くなっていますから。
Good.
人が悪いな。居眠りした俺が悪いにしても起こしてくれてもよかったじゃないか。休んでいる暇はないって言っただろ。
Trust me, in the long run, that was a W.
休息は必要な行為です。
Yeah.
それにシローが眠っていたのは1時間程度ですから、そう問題はないでしょう。
That's just a pure lie. It's nighttime, bitch.
そりゃ結果論だ。俺が起きなかったらどうするつもりだったんだよ。
Or it's just, I'm so confused, actually.
そうですね。あまり変わりはないでしょう。
Oh, was it already that late? Oh, okay, I guess it was already that
そろ
late.
そろ声をかけようと思っていたところです。
Oh, fair enough. This is no good. No matter how I think about it, she's right in this case.
まあ確かに体の調子はすごくいいけど。
Yeah, don't complain. Just accept it and move on. I get up from the bench and start to walk through the field. There's no trace in the field of what came before. No trace of when it used to be a residential district, nor any trace of when it was that red, burning world. It kind of irritates me that in spite of that, I saw that after image just by sleeping here.
シロー、何か問題でもあるのですか？
ああ、いや、どうせ休むなら別の場所にするべきだったなって。ここはどうも嫌な思い出がありすぎる。
Any chance you remember this place, Saber?
嫌な思い出。シローはこの場所に縁があったのですか？
え、そっか。話してなかったっけ？
okay.
俺、昔はこの辺りに住んでたんだ。10年前の話だけどな。大きな火事が起きて、両親も家も焼け落ちた。その時に親父に助けられて、そのまま養子になったんだよ。
では、あなたは？
Yeah?
ああ、キリツグの実の子供ってわけじゃない。それに、聖杯戦争と無関係ってわけでもないのかな。ここが前回の戦いの最後の場所だってのは聞いてるよ。そこで生き残った俺がマスターになるんだから、皮肉というか縁があるっていうか。
More than a little ironic, I suppose. I walked through the field. It's been 10 years since that happened, but it seems this ground isn't fertile at all, and I assume it never will be. Maybe the regret of the dying people is seeped into this land.
シロー、あなたが犠牲者を出すまいとするのはそれが理由ですか？
It's deeply rooted, ironically, in the last Holy Grail War.
あなた自身が聖杯戦争の犠牲者だからこそ、自分のような犠牲者は出したくないと。
I think that's a noble ambition.
いや、それは。
He doesn't think about that deeply, but now that she mentions it, maybe that's logical. But strangely, I've never thought about it that way.
どうだろう。セイバーの言うことはもっともだけど、俺はもっと単純だと思うよ。
I just want to save everyone.
10年前さ、ここでキリツグに助けられた時はただ嬉しかった。それ以外になかったから、自分もそうなれたらいいと憧れたんじゃないかな。
Just a pure, innocent admiration. That's right. I was just happy at that time. Oops. I can't put into words the emotion I felt when my request for help was granted. But at the same time, the happier I was, the guiltier I felt.
けど、自分だけ願いが叶えられたってのは居心地が悪かった。俺は親父に助けられたけど、他の人たちは助けられずにずっとこのままだ。
Yeah. Everyone wished for help, and I was the only one who received it. Only I was saved, and I was saved with the sacrifice of everyone else. So, Emiya Shiro must take responsibility for it.
けどまあ、起きてしまったことは戻しようがないからな。死んでいった人たちに報いたいなら、せめてこれからのことを防ぐべきだ。
Fair.
10年前のような惨事は起こさせない。またあんなことになったら、それこそ犠牲になった人たちに合わせる顔がないだろう。まあ、俺の理由なんてその程度のものだと思う。
More importantly, we should continue searching for Shinji. I feel better, so we should go to the buildings we haven't searched yet. And there'll be fewer people around at night. If Shinji wants to attack us, now would be a perfect time. If we are going to make ourselves a decoy, the real deal starts now.
行こうか、セイバー。とりあえずオフィス街に戻ろう。セイバー、どうした？忘れ物でもあるのか？
Do you perhaps feel guilty?
いいえ、ただ今朝のことを思い出していました。
Oh?
体の傷を治してからライダーのマスターを探すべきだと言った私に、シローは順番が違うと言いました。
Yep. I remember. Maybe I said that, but I don't remember the details. Trust me, I do. It was this episode.
シローは昨日も同じ言葉を口にした。以前から感じてはいましたが、その時に確信したのです。
Yeah, there's a certain lie he told you that you've realized.
あなたには自分を助けようとする気がないのだと。
And there it is. You have no intention of saving yourself. And that's the one thing that Saber will never vibe with. Because no matter how you see it, you are important, Shiro. Just like everyone else, you are important, and same thing applies to whoever you might be watching this video. Just like I'm important, you are important. And that's something that this game has teased tackling, and up to this point, it hasn't been addressed outside of Shiro's own inner machinations, but now a character is in fact breaching this. I mean, like, Saber breached it, and then he lied to her, and like that was the end of it. But now we're getting into it on a deeper level. It looks like, as if even stating that fact is a crime. She stares at me and declares so.
あなたは自身より他人を優先している。それは立派ですが、それではあなたはいつかきっと後悔する。
It's a great way to put it. It is admirable. You'll regret it someday if you continue like that.
シローはもっと自分を大切にするべきだ。
And there it is. You should value yourself more, Shiro. I have my qualms with you. That doesn't change the fact that you're a beautiful person, just like most of us. There might be a few that are a bit more questionable, but generally speaking. And if you think your your life is not worth it, I can almost guarantee that it is. Because the very few people on this planet whose lives aren't worth it don't think that way. Saber walks past me.
行きましょう。確かにここにいてはあなたに負担をかける。
That's going to be a huge theme of this game. I mean, it already has been, but self-worth and self-value is a very important theme. Saber starts to walk towards the office district. I try to call out to her, but I can't in the end.
何を？
Are you saying? Those words die in my throat. It can't be that I don't intend to save myself. It can't be true, but for some reason, I cannot refute her words. It's like I haven't consciously felt that way, but then deep down, you know that she's not wrong. I don't know if we've actually seen this shot of town before. This looks new, or if we've seen it, we've only seen it maybe in the day. If any time we would have seen it, it would have been when Rin was running around all the different places, but I don't remember this particular shot. We walk through the town. It's past 8 o'clock. At this time, when the station gets the most crowded, Saber and I stare at the map of the city.
主だった建物は回りましたね。他に行くべき場所はありますか？
The shrine, I guess, but that seems like the worst place to go, given what's going on.
そうだな。少し離れたところに工場がある。あそこも人が集まる場所だから調べておかないと。まあ、工場っていうのはシンジの趣味じゃないと思うんだが。
Yeah, but honestly, at this point, he might take what he can get. Even as I answer, it's hard to look at Saber. It must be because that conversation earlier is still affecting me. Since Saber is acting like she doesn't care, it bothers me even more. Well, that's the thing, because she knows that, like, that direct confrontation with you doesn't get her anywhere. She's learning from her past experiences with you at this point.
そういうセイバーの方はどうだ？ライダーの気配はつかめるか？
She would have told us by now.
いえ、感じません。彼女とは一度戦っていますから、近くにいれば知覚できるのですが。
That makes sense. What the fuck? A strange feeling pierces my heart. A wave of magical energy that even I can feel. There's no way Saber can't feel that.
シロ、言うまでもないと思うのですが。
A different master, a different
分かっ
servant.
てる。近くにいるのか、セイバ
いいえ、まだそこまでの距離ではないようです。ですが、確実に見られている。この魔力は私たちに対する挑発でしょう。
Ooh, who could it be? They are watching us, so that must mean they finally fell for the decoy. They're emitting magical energy so obviously they must be trying to tempt us.
ー。で、この気配、ライダーなのか？
Obviously not. My mind switches. The awkwardness from before disappears.
魔力をたどります。注意してください、マスター。
I nod silently. The murderous intent stinging my skin is coming from the office district, empty of people. Ooh, here we go. We might be getting another fight. Maybe no one is working overtime today, of all days. Most of the lights in the buildings you could call the symbol of Shinto have already disappeared. Not many people are walking through the roads, and the view isn't that bad. No one looks suspicious, and if Shinji is anywhere, he would be ahead of us. Perhaps the park we were just in? The murderous intent is getting stronger. There's no mistake that an enemy is nearby. For whatever reason, I'm kind of feeling Lancer. I mean, because we got him at the very beginning, but he hasn't popped up since. Obviously, it could be a caster situation. There's a few things this could be, but... No, more like... Or, yeah, this feels like maybe caster, because weird shit's happening to us. I feel a chill run down my spine. From the intensity of the murderous intent that even I can feel. Perhaps we are already in the range of the enemy?
セイバー、気をつけろ。何か変だ。
Yeah, I'm feeling caster.
ええ、シローの感覚は正しい。このように人目のある場所で仕掛けてくるとは思いませんが、相手が相手です。用心に越したことはありません。
Nodding silently, we head to the park. I'll ignore the oppressive pressure that feels like having a knife stuck at my throat. My neck. I don't know why I said throat. Ryder and Shinji are nowhere in the office district. If they are going to attack, it will be in the park where nobody will see.
シロー、
Here we go.
セイバー、
Here we go. I turn to Saber. She rushes at me like lightning. And deflects the attack over my head. That... I mean, my gut would say Archer, but obviously not, given who Archer is and who Archer's master is. It's gotta be Caster. I look up. In my sight is a large building, towering overhead as if to reach the heavens. And clinging on its side like a spider is the figure of the enemy. Okay, it's gotta be Ryder then. Yep. Long hair covering her whole body and flexible white limbs. The figure with the masked face is none other than Servant Ryder. The figure clinging around the 5th floor looks at me and licks her lips. I feel a freezing chill as my cock gets rock hard. And no mistake. She came down from the top of the building to kill me using my overhead blind spot. Well, this day is called Skyscraper. Saber lands on the ground. Saber, who jumped above me and deflected the attack, has instantly armed herself.
セイバー、あいつは
追います。シローはここにいてください。
追うってどうやって？
Oh, don't underestimate her. She kicks the ground. The silver armor disappears from my vision in an instant. If Ryder coming down from the top of the building is ridiculous, so is Saber pursuing her just by jumping. Yeah, I think this was in the OP, actually, now that I think about it. No, perhaps because they are servants, normal logic doesn't apply to them. Like Ryder, Saber kicks the side of the building and charges at Ryder like lightning. The two shadows intersect at great speeds. They clash overhead and separate, and then kick off the building and clash again. It's like watching fighter aircrafts dogfight. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, this is a tough one. So, I think the play is wait here and stand by. I feel like if we follow Saber, we're giving Ryder a potential opening to kill us. And Ryder, I think as long as we're out of Ryder's range and it's just Ryder v Saber, I don't see any way that Saber loses. I think we have a better chance of possibly running into Shinji and kicking his ass if we wait here and stand by. It's sad, but I guess all I can do is stay here. I can't run up the side of the building, and even if I do go after her, I wouldn't be able to back her up in any way.
Saber.
A human cannot participate in a battle between servants. There's nothing I can do. I can only trust Saber's words and wait here. Okay. 60 seconds pass. After a short blank period, I see intersecting sparks way above me.
屋上。二人ともビルの屋上まで上がったのか。
Damn. I strain my eyes to follow Saber's figure. The silver and the black light do not stop even once and disappear a few hundred meters higher. What should I do? Should I go into the building and run up to the rooftop? Unlike the side of the building, if it's the rooftop on firm ground, I should be able to... Nani? A bright light is emitted from the rooftop. Not just once. Oh god. Holy shit, it repeats in rapid succession.
まさか。
Saber's Noble Phantasm? Yeah, I was thinking which one? Ryder's Noble Phantasm? If so, Saber has no chance of winning. Not letting Ryder use her Noble Phantasm, wasn't that the main requirement for Saber to win?
Saber!
There's no time for indecision. Gritting my teeth at my cowardice, I run to the building. Oh, does she... Damn, did I get the bad ending? I run up to the stairs. It was easy to get into the building, but it's not easy to get to the rooftop. The elevator doesn't go beyond the 40th floor, so I have to use the stairs to go up farther.
こんなことで時間を取ってられないってのに。
In the darkness of the inactive lights, I continue up the stairs leading to the rooftop. It's already been 5 minutes since I snuck in. A normal battle should be decided by now. That sounds like Ryder's Noble Phantasm. The ground shakes. The 50-story building shakes as if bombed.
なんだ今のライダーのホグじゃないぞ。
I mean, the other possibility is Saber doing her thing. One more floor to the rooftop. Shaking off an ominous presentiment? I have no idea. I run up the darkened stairs. What are we about to see? Oh, this is so cool. The instant I open the door, I feel hot air on my face. A burning heat hot enough to burn my face rushes in.
一体何が
Happened here. The concrete ground is burned up here and there. A dry air as if there is nothing living.
セイバー
In the middle, Saber is collapsed as if empty of energy?
セイバーしっかりしろセイバー
I run to Saber and raise her up. She's still breathing. Saber is unconscious and breathing heavily as if wounded really badly.
セイバー
Saber remains and Ryder is nowhere to be seen. So leaving the process aside, the result is clear. If Ryder was still here, she would not have let Saber go as weakened as she is. So the survivor, The victorious one is Saber. Ryder was defeated, and Saber must have lost consciousness in exchange for
我
that.
慢しててくれ。すぐに連れて帰って遠坂に見てもらうからな。
I hold Saber in my arms. I'm amazed at her lightness. Saber, breathing painfully, has no weight like she's just an illusion. Wow. It seems like we... Wow, we actually made it back. Holy shit, we beat Ryder. Oh, man. You know, it's something I've thought about, too, with this Let's Play. And I do want to mention this at some point. I think it would be really cool. And I don't think I would want to watch the entire anime of, like, all the Fate Stay Night, like, Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heavensfield. But what I've thought about doing is I might, down the line, do reactions to, like, the fights. I think that could be really cool. Because I really love the visual novel, and I love this experience. And I really do think I'm probably going to stick with it for the 3 arcs. But I think it would be really cool to see the fights. I mean, obviously I'm going to react to Fate Zero, of course. But, like, after that, maybe I'll potentially do reactions to, like, the openings and the fights and that stuff. Be like that type of channel. Normally I just react to the shows and stuff, but this is a unique case where maybe I would be that type of reactor who reacts to the openings and the fights and shit. You guys know what I'm talking about. But in this particular case, it might actually make more sense, because I don't think I would necessarily want to react to the shows themselves, given that I'm playing the VN, and by that point we'll have played the VN. You get what I'm saying. Anyways, I'm done.
和室に寝かせてきたけど、あの分じゃしばらく目を覚まさないでしょうね。
すまん、助かった。俺にはセイバーを手当てするなんてできないからな。
まあ、鎧を脱がせて楽にさせただけだから、お礼を言われるほどじゃないわ。セイバーの体も良くならないし、私は何もしてないもの。
Fair enough. But still, having Tosaka around was helpful. Who knows what she was up to? She understood the situation with just one glance at me holding Saber. Tosaka quickly took off Saber's armor and examined her.
それで、何があったの？シンジを探しに行って帰ってきたと思ったらセイバーがあれでしょ？一腹あったのはわかるけど、説明してくれないかしら。
Even we're not 100% clear on the details, other than the fact that Saber and Ryder fought, and it seems like Saber won.
それが俺にもわからない。セイバーとライダーが戦って生き残ったのはセイバーだってことしか。
詳しく知りたいところだけど、追求するのは勘弁してあげるわ。今のあなたたちはそれどころじゃないものね。
To be honest, I think Shira would like to know the details too.
それどころじゃないってどういうことだ？
言葉通りの意味よ。あなただってうすうすは気づいてるんでしょ。このままじゃセイバーが消えるってことぐらい。
Calmly, Tosaka mentions the result that I have avoided thinking about. Yeah. This is the thing, that we have to find a solution for this.
消えるって、セイバーが消えるっていうのか、お前は。
She's using too much of her energy and she's not
ええ。
getting it
どんな
back from
戦い
you.
をしたのか知らないけど、セイバーの魔力ほとんど空っぽなのよ。今彼女が苦しんでいるのはね、魔力不足で消えようとしている自分を必死に留めているからなの。
魔力がないからセイバーが消える？
I mean, you knew this was an eventuality at the way things were going.
ええ。霊体であるサーバントがこの世に留まるための魔力が足りていない。こんな時、普通のマスターだったら自分の魔力を送るんだけど、あなたはそれができないでしょ。簡単に言って、今のセーバーは酸素不足であえいでいる魚みたいなものなのよ。
Yeah, that's fair.
酸素不足ってバカな。だって今までは大丈夫だったじゃないか。セイバーだって眠っていれば持ち直すって。
それはセイバーの魔力量が桁外れだったからよ。
Yeah.
けどそれもここまで。魔力を使い切ったサーバントを元に戻す方法は2つだけ。
Let's hear it. What do we got?
マスターがサーバントに魔力を提供するか、 サーバントが自分で魔力を補充するかよ。
It seems like it's too late for the latter, and we can't do the former, and even if we did the latter, there's moral issues with the latter. To have a servant collect magical energy herself. That would mean killing innocent people like Ryder did.
まさかセイバーはそんなことはしない。セイバー自身がそんなことはしないと言ったんだ。
And that's why we're in the situation we're in. That and the fact that we don't have that connection with Saber.
でしょうね。けど方法はそれしかない。マスターが魔力を与えられない以上、サーバント自身が魔力を補充するしかないわ。これはあなたが決めることだけど。
Holy shit.
セイバーを助けたいのなら、セイバーに人を襲わせて魂を食べさせなさい。
Wow. That's the most realistic course. That means...
もちろんセイバーは嫌がるでしょう。けど放っておけば、遅かれ早かれセイバーは消えて、あなたは他のマスターから狙われることになる。
That's a really rough path, and Rin's realistic to tell him what he needs to do. But it's a decision that... This is the type of decision Shiro has to make, and it's understandable whatever way he goes, to be honest. I mean, obviously knowing Shiro, he's not going to do it, but... Saber will disappear? I can't even imagine such a thing, but yeah, he has fallen in love with her pretty hard. I still feel her body heat in my hands, which were carrying her.
決断はあなたに任せるわ。
Jesus Christ.
セイバーは眠らせておけば落ち着くだろうけど、それでも限界は近いでしょうね。決断をするなら、明日の朝がリミットよ。
Holy shit. Tosaka leaves the living room. I feel dizzy. I can't even look up. I can only listen to Tosaka's departing footsteps. We're gonna end the night like that? Yes, we are. Holy shit. Dragon Slay? Excuse me? Why is the S capitalized? There's a lot of what the fuck so right now, but okay, that was February 9th, day 10, Skyscraper, and sure enough, we had another fight with Ryder. We seem to have won, but we might have won the battle, but we might not have won the war. We don't know if Ryder is defeated. We don't know exactly what happened to Ryder, whether they're defeated or not. Shinji's probably fine, but Shinji never popped up in that sauce, so we have no idea where that's going, and we're at a decision where Shiro's got to make a decision as to whether he's going to let Saber disappear, attack innocent people, which as desperate as he might be to save Saber, that's one thing I don't think he's going to be able to bring himself to do. Or we have to find some alternative that has yet to manifest itself at the last second. And, yeah, I don't know what else there is to do, but I guess we'll have to find out, so... Good shit. Good shit. That was another great day of Fate. I'm really enjoying this, and at the pace we're going, it seems like we're pacing these about like hour and a half days, give or take, which is perfect because that sets up really well for us to do 2 days in a video, and that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to do day 11 and see if we're able to. But it just seems like these days are going by a little bit faster than they have been in the past, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, it's the day of reckoning. The day starts without me getting any sleep. Saber is not woken up yet. She is sleeping like a corpse.
でも顔色は良くなった。
Well, she's probably doing better than she was, but it's clear that you guys are out of time. The situation isn't that pessimistic. Saber is breathing calmly and there's no sign she's in pain. Saber is sleeping peacefully. This is just an everyday morning scene. Oh, wow. Little meta.
もしかしたら
If I let her sleep like this, she might get back to normal. Then there'll be no need to have Saber kill people. Then, like we were doing now, Saber would be with me and...
何よ、都合のいいこと。
Yep. You're not You can't be that unrealistic, especially at this stage. We don't have time for that. I punched the wall. I feel sick at how weak I am. Saber will certainly disappear if I postpone my decision. Yeah, you have to man up and make a decision one way or another. I get up, trying not to make a sound. I don't know when Saber will wake up, but I have to make a decision before she does. If we get a choice, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I don't think we're going to, but Jesus Christ. I go outside. It's not that I have a plan. Just seeking a sign to make me decide, I wander aimlessly. I have no idea what Dragon Slay could be about, though. That is such an interesting title for this day. The park is empty as usual. Yeah, no signs of Ilya. Maybe it helps that it's colder today than usual. There's no one around, and it looks like I'm the only one out at this time. I sit on the bench and repeatedly consider the insoluble problem. I don't know how long I'm slumped on the bench, but just as my fingers start to tremble from the cold, sure enough, we do get a sighting of Illyasviel. I'm suddenly called like that.
やっぱりそうだ。こんにちは、シロ。浮かない顔してるけど、何かあったの?
I'm about to get... Honestly, at this point, it might be worth admitting it to Ilya, because what's the worst that could happen? She kills you? Like, honestly, at this point, you're in deep enough shit that asking her for help might not be the worst idea.
Ilya? お前、また一人でこんなところまでやってきたのか。危ないぞ。どこにマスターの目が光ってるか。
As I start to say that, I'm amazed at my stupidity. Ilya is a master too. I shouldn't be worrying about this in any way. Aren't we enemies?
悪いな。今はイリアと話をする余裕がないんだ。せっかく会えたところだけど、話し相手になってやれない。今日は冷えるし、帰った方がいいぞ。
In more ways than just the weather. Sitting down on the bench, I dismiss Ilya. There are things I need to talk to her about, but I have my hands full with Saber right now. That's a bit of an understatement, to be honest. What's going on? Ilya doesn't say anything, and she just stares at me as if I'm a stranger.
イリア? いや、別にお前を邪険にしてるんじゃないんだ。今はちょっといろいろと立て込んでいて。
Is she gonna have the solution?
セイバーが消えかけてるんでしょ?
Damn, cause she's like supposedly
それでシローはどうしようかって考えてるのよね。
Damn, that's kind of terrifying. What the fuck, Ilya? Suddenly, the girl in front of me says this coldly as if she is someone else.
イリア、お前、なんでそんなこと。
言うまでもないでしょ。昨日の夜ね。私もあのビルにいただけよ。
Yo, she was watching!
もっとも、さすがにビルの中で様子を見てるしかなかったけど。
Holy shit, Ilya. I try to move my arms and legs, but they won't move at all. No, it feels like they're stiffening the more I put power into them. It's those eyes. Looking at Ilya's red eyes makes my body go numb and... You can admit it, you're into lollies, it's okay, Shiro.
あ、もう金縛りになったんだ。シロったら守りも何もないんだもの。
Bound already.
一人でいれば簡単に捕まえられるって思ったけど、こんなに簡単に行くなんて可愛いな。
Damn.
イリア、お前。
無駄だよお兄ちゃん。そうなったらもう動けないわ。
Oh, Jesus Christ.
もうじき声も出なくなるけど、心配しなくていいよ。
I'll take extra good care of you. After all, you already saw a bad ending with me, didn't you, Oni-chan?
私もね、今日はお話をしに来たわけじゃないもの。
Damn! Murderous intent seeps into Ilya's gaze. Oh, this static effect is a really interesting touch. This is the same Ilya as the one that night when she was the master of Bazaka.
お前俺をここで殺すつもりか。
It's not her style. Gritting my teeth, I gather all my strength, but I can't even twitch my fingers. Every nerve in my body is wrapped by Ilya's stare.
だってもうマスターでいてもしょうがないでしょ。セイバーが消えたらシローは一人きりだもの。いつまでもマスターにさせてられないわ。
Damn.
戦う手段がなくなったシローなんて簡単に殺せるんだから。
She's not wrong. Ilya raises her hand. Her white, slender fingers touch my chest.
他の人に殺される前に見つけられてよかった。
Oh god, this is so creepy, and like the glitchy sound effect as well. Oh my god. I'm glad I found you before anyone else killed you, Oni-chan.
それじゃあおやすみなさいお兄ちゃん。どうせセイバーも消えるんだから早い方がすっきりするでしょ。
What the fuck? Dude, the effects they're doing are like wild. I don't know why every visual novel has to be weirdly meta, but it's glorious. My vision fades. Sensation in my limbs is already gone, and now my vision is gone as well. How long has it been since I fell into this darkness? While I wonder whether I'm dead or not, my consciousness fades away. Yeah? Yeah? Are we at her house? Huh? It seems I'm still alive. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuffed animals. This has got to be her house. The house in the woods. The Einsburn, house in the woods.
いいのイリア。この子、イリアの敵じゃないよ。
Why does the maid sound fucking dead inside and looks dead inside?
そんなのリズには関係ないわ。それにこれは当然の権利なんだから。
And now you're acting totally different. What the fuck?
10年間ずっとこの時を待ってたんだから。今さら逃がしてなんかあげられない。
You've been waiting for this moment for 10 years? So I can't let him go now? Does this have to do with the fact that we're not a magus, but we're using this deteriorated version of whatever magic, whatever the fuck Tosaka and Saber were talking about a while back? Ilya? Well, we're playing like the death music here. What? I can't move. No, I can't even feel my body. What's going on? Am I really here?
控えなさいリーゼリット。お嬢様、組対の受け入れ準備が終わりました。あとは転移を行うだけですが。
The preparation for acceptance of the prime field has ended. All that remains is to conduct the transfer? Excuse me?
始めるわ。二人とも下がってなさい。
Okay. What the fuck is she going to do to us? My vision is shut off. Within it, where no light exists. Only Ilya's red command spell is... Yo, we haven't seen that graphic in forever. My mind is taken to a different place. Even though I have no senses, I think something grabbed my arm. I start to pass out. I don't know what will happen to me in the next few minutes, but it seems my fight has already ended. Wait, that was a bad end? Wait. So you're telling me that long-ass ending was a bad end? Sure, I'll take the advice.
おうす。理不尽な死に苦しむみんなを助ける憩いの場、タイガー道場です。
Taiga Jojo des! What the fuck?
リズ。
Oh, hi Liz.
誰だ貴様、メイドなんてお呼びじゃね
That's quite a maid outfit, by the way.
え。さっさと弟子1号を連れてきて。
What, Ilya?
ダメ。
イリアはお休み。今ちょっと落ち込んでるみたい。
I can think of a few reasons why.
むむむ。勝手に殺しといて勝手に落ち込むとはなんたる理不尽。だがそれがいい。私も豪勢なお城とか行ってみたいにゃ。
That Nya was surprisingly cute.
ま、それはともかく。
Although I shouldn't be surprised with Taiga Sensei. She's always cute.
あんた本当に誰？なんか私たちと塗りが全然違
Yeah,
うんだけど。
that's a fair point. She's in the normal Fate art style, not the Tiger Dojo art style.
リーゼリット、イリアの友達。今日は代理。
イリアちゃんにも友達がいたのね。
Yes and no.
どんな関係なの？ボケとツッコミ？罪と罰？
Wow, straight man and foil, crime and punishment.
まあイリアの世話とか。
Yeah, that about sums it up. Then is she off having a fun time with Shiro on her canopy bed right now? What the fuck? There was an event CG like that at one point, but I heard it was taken away due to special Excuse me? What? Did it happen to be Arrow? Yes, Arrow. What? What the fuck?
げげ。いいとこのお嬢さんだとは思ってたけど、そこまでお金持ちだったのか、あのちびっこ。
Yeah, apparently so.
どわー！そんなのお姉ちゃん許しません！
Girl all of a sudden got red eyes.
なんたること。そもそもこんなバッドエンドになったのはシローがおじけづいたからよ。
Yeah, I was supposed to go out there with Saber.
直前の選択肢に戻ってちゃっちゃと戦いの行方を見極めること。
I guess that makes sense given the fact that we didn't actually see the battle, that it was a bad end.
そうね。この終わり方じゃイリアも嬉しくないと思う。
Fair enough.
お？不愛想かと思えば何気に話がわかると見た。よしよし、いい子にはタイガースタンプをあげましょう。
I'll take my tiger stamp. Nice.
ティーゲル、ありがとう。
いえいえ、断言いたしまして。
Nice. Hit her with the random German.
それじゃあまた次はもっとマシなデッドエンドで会おうね。
I'm sure there are better dead ends, so sure, why not, Taiga? I can't believe that was a fucking... Like, we went to the next day. That was insane. What the fuck? Nutcracker doll? Jesus Christ. Alright, well, obviously we have to follow Saber. Maybe we're not getting as far in as I thought, given the fact that I got a bad end, actually. But let's follow Saber. I can't just watch. Perhaps because it's a battle with no foothold, Saber is unable to overwhelm Ryder like before. The two's conflict moves slowly up towards the rooftop. Yeah. If Ryder came from the rooftop, chances are Shinji is there. There are two conditions to fighting Ryder. Beating Ryder before she has a chance to use her Noble Phantasm, or get Shinji before that. Since Saber is fighting Ryder, there's only one thing I can do. Yep, go after Shinji. That's fair. Oh, Interlude 10-1. Oh, okay, so we actually get the fight. Okay, this makes more sense. The two shadows running up. The ground is already far away, and the clashes occur at higher and higher altitudes. The two need no footholds as they fly higher by kicking off the walls of the building. Yeah. In the process, in the instant it takes them to move to the rooftop, they clash numerous times. If there were anyone watching them from the ground, they would think it looks like pinball. That's a funny description. But then again, they cannot be perceived with the naked eye. Only their tracks are barely visible, and they are a circus of death invisible to any normal beings. But this circus is not what Saber wanted. Even if she is a servant, she cannot fly through the sky. She can run up a wall, but that's it. This is no different from freefall. It is just the difference between rising until she loses her speed rather than falling. So the expression falling into the sky isn't that far off. Interesting. Since she has started, she has to continue to the final destination of the rooftop. If she takes any blows from her opponent in the process, she will just fall miserably to the ground. But those rules do not apply to the opponent Saber has to defeat. A trace of purple attacks Saber, who is just heading for the rooftop. Attacking from both sides and from above, arcing from every direction, Ryder is not bound by gravity. Her long hair sways like a comet's tail, and her figure is like a snake encircling a tree. Saber's feet touch the building. Tilting her body to the side, she kicks off the building to head around to its side. Saber's path that is headed directly toward the rooftop changes direction perpendicularly. The flowing attacks go away. Ryder cannot match Saber in this instantaneous bursts. Saber shakes Ryder off with one kick and, reaching the side of the building, kicks upwards again. Up to the rooftop this time. If Ryder is a snake wrapped around the building, Saber is almost an exploding firework. But maybe Ryder expected even that. The distance between the two does not change. Ryder doesn't let Saber get away as she runs to the side and attacks in the opening as Saber kicks off the building. She flicks Ryder away with her sword and jumps into the open area. There is a limit to how much she can block Ryder's attacks in the air. The skills that were not even a match before are finally matched on this battlefield. There are no decisive blows in this battle. No, Ryder herself is avoiding them most of all. When Saber jumps at Ryder with determination, Ryder only defends and shows no intention of countering. Ryder is just keeping Saber in check as she runs to the rooftop.
戦う気がないのですか、ライダー。
Saber yells at her cowardly opponent. As a knight, this kind of a fight is an insult. A battle determines the victor by exchanging blows with full force. According to that belief, Ryder's behavior is only an insult.
高いところは苦手のようですね、セイバー。
It's not preferred! Ryder only replies in a cool voice. Ah, cool voice, that's what you call it. That's a fucking mommy voice if I've ever heard one. As she says, Saber is inexperienced in air battles. One could say tonight is the first time she is engaged in such a battle. After all, a knight runs on the ground. They are not the type to stick to walls like the woman in front of Saber, because she's a spider. Haha, get it?
自慢の剣もここでは型なしでしょう。けど安心なさい。もうじき楽にしてあげるから。
Oh? Ryder moves higher as if to tempt Saber. She's deliberately constructing this situation. Saber acknowledges that as well. The final stop of this circus. Ryder's ideal position must await at that point. Ryder's trump cannot be used readily. That is why she is luring her enemies somewhere where nothing will interrupt them, as she is determined to settle this match with her strongest blow. If Saber continues onto the rooftop, she will be in trouble. If Ryder's Noble Phantasm is as Saber believes, there is no way to defend against it. But there is no turning back now. She cannot let Ryder or Ryder's master be. Not because it is the principle of the Holy Grail War to defeat one's enemies. Saber must defeat Ryder right here to protect her master. Because it cannot be helped. Saber herself is amazed. But she has thought, at least once, that she does not want to push her honest master. The two gain altitude. Continuing their momentous clashes, the battle is about to reach its final destination. Alright, and that's the end of the interlude? Yep. Interlude out. Sure enough, back to...
なんだって40回までしか動いてないんだ。
Yep, we saw this. I run up the stairs while cursing. Even though I was able to enter the building through the back door, the elevator didn't go to the rooftop. I have to run up the remaining 10 floors on my own feet. I run up the stairs full speed. I don't know how long it's been since Saber left me. I don't think it's been 10 minutes yet, but that's still too long. Nobody knows what can end a battle. Saber isn't perfect. It's possible that she could make a big mistake and be cornered, in big trouble. So before that happens, if I can find Shinji and make him use up his command spell, there should be no need for us to fight against Ryder. My Convalescent body aches the more I run up the stairs. Running around the building and up the stairs has run me out of breath. I don't slow down, but rather speed up. I have a bad feeling. I don't know why I feel it, but my heart is in pain. It's not a pain in my body, just something that tells me of danger. Saber cannot win. On the rooftop is something that must not be confronted. Trying to shake off the bad feeling, I continue up the stairs full speed. Here we go again. The wind is strong. As soon as I open the door, the scenery of the night town surrounds me. The concrete ground is burned up here and there. It's like an iron plate from a barbecue making sizzling sounds. In the center, in the middle of the burned up rooftop, is her figure down on her knees.
Saber!
シロ、どうしてここに？
Saber was nothing to spare, breathing with her shoulders. The instant I try to run to her, I notice something strange floating up into the sky. No. The overwhelming amount of magical energy forced me to recognize it. This fucking day is... Wait, wasn't it the next day, though? Wait a minute. Yeah, Nutcracker doll. But this day, this upcoming day is called Dragon Slay. And she's Ryder. They fucking teased dragons too, didn't they? I feel like that there's been, oh my fucking god, she's riding a motherfucking dragon. I stare up at the sky. The sound of wings flapping. There's something whiter than the hazy white moon. Oh! She's riding Pegasus! That's not what I was expecting, actually. Hey, Pegasus. It is a legendary divine mystery spoken of only in myths. Hey, Pegasus. Can ride even demonic and holy creatures if they are beasts. Oh yeah, she can't ride dragons. And the instant Saber reaches the rooftop, she confronts the true form of her opponent. What the fuck? Supporting her falling body with her sword, Saber looks up. A white light approaches instantly. Deploying the wind wrapped around her sword, she creates an invisible wall. Her body is blown away. That which should have been nullified any possible impact could not even slow the charge of the Pegasus. Blown away, she rolls on the ground. There's no time to lie down. The Pegasus turns in the air and continues its glide without a pause. She cannot block that blow. The only possible measure is to jump and evade it. But even if she does avoid the attack, the trail is enough to chip at her protection. She will eventually take a direct blow if she continues like this. Jesus Christ. The white light comes swooping down. The Pegasus glides down from high above, mows Saber down without touching the rooftop, and returns to the sky. This is wild. Honestly, it's very... like, very much in the manner of, like, it very much feels like a Fate thing, but Pegasus was not on my bingo card, I suppose, but it makes sense. Just in the sense that, like, of course, it would be a mythical creature of some kind that Ryder would ride. And I was wondering when this would come up, given how we're kind of in the Ryder art. Pursuit is impossible. There is no wall to run up, and even if there were one, no one would be able to catch that Pegasus. In that inferior position, Saber awaits a chance to counter. Even if it's a Pegasus, if it's alive, it can be killed. The only chance of victory Saber has left is for Ryder to make a mistake with the Pegasus's reins.
驚きました。見かけによらず頑丈ですね。
She is Saber. A voice from above. Saber looks up, holding her sword, ready.
ですが、それに意味はありますか？あなたには勝ち目などない。散るしかないのなら、潔く消えなさい。
You're just going to disappear with grace. Ryder sounds calm. A little joy can be heard in that voice.
幻想種だとは睨んでいましたが、まさかそんなものを持ち出してくるとは思いませんでした、ライダー。
A fantastic race. As it sounds, they are beings that only exist in fantasy. It's like elves and demi-humans like sprites and giants, sure. Demonic beasts like demons and dragons. As their very existence is a divine mystery, it is said that they themselves surpass magic. Interesting. It is the law that a divine mystery will be eliminated by a greater divine mystery. As magic stored its power in knowledge, the fantastic races store their power in their long lifespan. Even if one masters magic as a human, that is only about the last 500 years. For those who have lived since ancient times, a 500-year-old divine mystery is not even worthy competition. But it was long ago when both humans and the fantastic races lived in the same world. The longer lived the fantastic race is, the farther it strays from this world. In the present day, the only fantastic race in this world are a mere few hundred years old. That is why she thought the fantastic race that Ryder rode would be only about several hundred years old.
信頼のものを持ち出すとは、随分と業が深いようですね、ライダー。
So it would seem.
ええ。私はあなたたちとは違う。むしろ、あなたたちの敵だったものに過ぎない。故に、私が操るのは、あなたたちが駆逐してきた、かわいそうな子たちだけよ。
Referring to humanity, perhaps?
なるほど。歪んでいるとは思いましたが、英霊ではなく悪鬼の類でしたか、あなたは。
せいぜい呪いなさい。あなたでは、私の子に触れることさえできないのだから。
She obviously feels a strong bond and connection to him, though. So clearly But clearly, despite being an evil spirit, there's clearly a lot of, Clearly there's a lot of gray area here with heroic spirits and evil spirits in this, universe, from what we've seen of both heroic spirits and evil spirits. The Pegasus rests its wings in the air, a giant arrow that will strike if it sees an opening. Well, that explains that. Saber ponders, glaring at it. Pegasus itself is not a strong fantastic race. A normal Pegasus will only grow to the class of a demonic beast of the fantastic race. If that is the case, it is an opponent defeatable just with her invisible air. But that thing is different. As that Pegasus has existed from the time of the gods, it has grown to the level of the fantastic beasts. That Pegasus is nearing the level of the dragon race, considered to be the strongest of the fantastic races. No, its defense is already at the level of the dragon race. Because that Pegasus has divine protection exceeding even Saber, who has the strongest magic resistance. Its charge, emitting vast amounts of magical energy, is like a giant castle wall approaching. There is no possible way to dodge or defend against such a thing. But that is not the surprising fact. That Pegasus is just something that Ryder has summoned, and it does not have a true name. For Ryder, that Pegasus is just like the dagger she uses. In other words, that Black Cavalry has yet to use her Noble Phantasm. Saber does not think of defeat, even in this situation. Rather, she thinks that her chance will come when Ryder decides to use her Noble Phantasm. No matter what Ryder's Noble Phantasm may be, there is no problem if it is only strong enough to destroy the building. Saber only needs to go into defense, endure the attack, and then slash away at the defenseless Ryder. That's right. As long as her master does not appear here. Isn't that ironic? I look up at the sky. But of course, as we found out, that ends up being a bad end, even if she does win in that scenario. The sound of wings flapping. There's something whiter than the hazy white moon. Yep, and we're gonna see Pegasus again. Yep. It is a legendary divine mystery spoken of only in myths. The identity of Ryder's Noble Phantasm. Is that what caused the scorching of the rooftop and drove Saber to her knees? Yes and no, it's complicated. Ryder is riding on a flying horse, as befits her class name. I take my mind off Ryder. I heard a sound. I cannot tell how strong Ryder is on that Pegasus. I can only tell that the white beast is constructed from enough magical energy to have come from a few hundred magi. It is only natural for the rooftop to be scorched. That thing destroys its surroundings just by running. If that thing charges from the sky, there is no way even Saber could block it. Saber seems to think otherwise, but regardless, let's find this blue-haired asshole. I'm racing against time here. Ryder's Noble Phantasm has already been used, so I have to take the last resort of defeating Shinji and eliminating Ryder. This guy cannot resist laughing like an evil maniac. I hear laughter. Shinji must be hiding somewhere.
Shinji. 見たかエミヤ。これが僕とお前の力の差だ。
Only his voice echoes. Calming my impatient mind, I listen to his laughter. Damn, the wind's strong. I can't tell where the laughter's coming from.
残念だったな。格好をつけて余裕ぶってるからこういう目に遭うんだ、マヌケ。殺すときはさ、さっさと殺さなきゃダメだって理解できたかい?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. I'm not even saying that, but just the opportunity to actually take Shinji out. Don't rush. Let him talk. I should be able to determine his location if he keeps talking.
けど僕は違うよ。お前もあのサーバントもここで終わりだ。何？これでも知らない仲じゃない。昨日の借りもあるしさ。せめて苦しまないように一瞬で死んじゃえよ。
This is bad. The head of the Pegasus standing by in the sky lowers towards Saber. The swirl of magical energy rotates as if without limit. If that thing is going to be coming at high speed, this rooftop will be blown away, leaving no remains.
なに安心しろエミヤ。お前に邪魔されたけどさ、学校のバカどももすぐに後を追わせてやるよ。お前が寂しいってんなら。 くそ鬱陶しい桜も付き合わせてやろうじゃないか。
And he proves my point of the fact that yes, we should be fucking worried for Sakura because her fucking brother doesn't give a fuck about her life.
Shinji, お前
Such an asshole, Jesus Christ.
やれないだ。まずはその女だ。跡形も残すなよ。
Let's see what happens.
セイバー。
A white shooting star falls from above. I ignore it, but the instant I run to Saber, in that instant, a storm appears before me. This is gonna be her using her sword. For real this time.
Saber!
For the first time, she forgot about her enemy during the battle. Angry at her master for coming to such a dangerous place. angry at herself for not realizing that this was likely. But all those ideas are driven to the back of her mind. What else could there be? In this dangerous situation, his expression is only worried about Saber.
Shiro!
Come to think of it, he has always been like that. Even though he knew she was an excellent knight, he did not treat her as a knight even once.
どうやら余興はここまでのようね、セイバー。
Soft laughter. Oops. Ryder places her hands on the Pegasus's neck and makes it beat its wings even faster.
私の宝具は強力ゆえ、地上で使うには適していない。使えばどうしても人目につく。まだ他にマスターがいる以上、おいそれと使うわけにはいかなかった。
That makes a lot of sense, though.
けれど、ここなら覗き見される恐れはない。
You had to set up the ideal situation to use Pegasus.
あなたを誘い出したのは、ここでなら都合がいいからと分かりましたか。
Of course. Something missing until now forms in Ryder's hands. It is a mere small rain of shining gold.
それが貴様の宝具か、ライダー。
We finally found it.
ええ、私の趣味ではありませんよ。
She's more the whip type than the rain type.
この子は優しすぎて戦いには向いていない。だからこんなものでも使わないと。そう。
The Pegasus lowers its neck. The Pegasus rages, not from its own intentions, but from Ryder's.
消えなさい、セイバー。
Holy shit, what the fuck? After all this time, we turn out it's a fucking rain that, like, lets her, like, I assume, control and, like, make any magical, beast into, like, raging fury. I don't know. But what's interesting about that is she obviously has no problem riding and controlling the beast anyways. It's just what makes him an actual fighter.
たとえあなたが生き延びようと、あなたのマスターは私からは逃げられない。マスターさえ死ねば、頑丈なあなたもそれまででしょう。
That is absolutely true. Ryder's Noble Phantasm will completely blow away this rooftop. If she hurries, she will be able to get to Shiro and get away from the rooftop, but Ryder's attack won't destroy just the rooftop. Her master is not strong enough to survive a collapsing building. So for Saber to protect her master, she has to slay that enemy along with the Pegasus. She had no time to decide if her choice is the correct one. She looks at her distant master one more time. He is gritting his teeth, trying to fulfill his role.
風よ。
Here we go! Invisible air! That makes her hesitations go away. She forgets about everything that must happen in the future. She is only her master's sword now and exists only to defeat the enemy. Are we about to...
やれライダー、まずはその女だ。跡形も残すなよ。
Are we about to possibly see Saber's Noble Phantasm in all its glory and potentially learn who she is as well? An annoying voice shouts out, wow, shitting on Shinji, even the game is. As it does, the Pegasus flies up even higher. It disappears from view in an instant. The Pegasus that flew up into the air has already lost its form. After rising as if to strike the moon, it arcs and returns toward the earth. A comet sweeps down. Oh, that's really cool. Even after it becomes an arrow of light, Ryder still pushes the Pegasus. There's only one target. She will destroy her enemy along with this isolated garden in the sky.
ベルレ。
The name is cast. A Noble Phantasm bears a miracle that is revealed by casting its true name. And if a miracle is a disaster that should not occur in this world... Holy shit! Bellerophon? I have no idea, honestly. It is truly a divine lightning. Yo, that actually looks sick as fuck, because you can actually see Ryder here, and you can see Pegasus, kind of. A flashing thunderbolt. Watching it, her eyes show no emotion.
この場所ならば 人目につかないと言ったな、ライダー。
The wind is unraveled. The wind centered on her turns into a raging tempest. Yep.
同感だ。ここなら地上を焼き払う憂いもない。
Bro, Saber, what the fuck? The seal is broken, releasing many layers of wind. Her sword makes its appearance! Bro. Bro. What the fuck? A storm is rising before my eyes. A white light comes bearing down. Even though she is its target, Saber does not move. Oh my god. What the fuck?
Saber!
The raging wind is coming from her. No, not from Saber, but from the sword she is holding. What is this music? Yo, the sword! This is a new theme. The wind is going crazy, so we can barely hear it. But we're getting a new theme. It's very heroic. I doubt my own eyes. I can see the sword that should be invisible. Slowly, as if taking off bandages, her sword starts to show its form. A golden sword. Raging winds. Many seals develop as if a box is opening. The wind melts into the air. Readying the exposed sword, she faces the descending Pegasus. Bro. Bro. What is this music? This music sounds like the hero from like I want to say like a medieval movie or something. Maybe, which I guess fits Saber. Oh, dude, this OST is awesome. I'm assuming this is Saber's theme. Rider descends as a surge of light. Bellerophon? Bellerophon? I no idea. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But I don't want to spoil myself because they haven't actually given her name yet. Grows large enough to engulf the whole rooftop and speeds up to destroy not only us, but the building itself. Yo, Saber, what the fuck? The reins of the heroic cavalry light up the rooftop. Time stops. Facing unavoidable destruction, my mind freezes. But not because of the reins of the heroic cavalry. Bro, the converging lights. Its purity is not even comparable to the light of Rider that is merely large. Yo, this is so sick! In her hands is an assembly of the planet's light. The strongest holy sword. Are you telling me this sword is what I think it is? Is this the sword in the stone? We're building up to saying the name, but the strongest holy sword. I mean, if we're really implying that, only one sword comes to mind. That would make this girl a little more than just a knight. Yo! It is! Bro, she's King Arthur! What the fuck? What the fuck? It fucking what? It'd be fucking, oh my fucking god. What the fuck? Dude, this is so epic. I'm sorry that I'm not going, but I have to take a second to process this. Once the game said the strongest holy sword, I was like, they're gonna fucking say Excalibur. I didn't want to say it. I had to say the sword and the stone because I couldn't say Excalibur, because if we said Excalibur, I just would have fucking died, you know? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I don't even know what to say. So she's... So this bitch is fucking King Arthur. What the fuck? So we did gender bend! Well, that kind of explains a lot, actually. Okay, that actually makes everything infinitely harder. Because we can just gender bend heroes of the past, apparently. What the fuck? You know, the funny thing is if she was a guy, I might have thought of this. This is actually one that I even know. I mean, who doesn't? Fuck. Bro, what the fuck? Bro, what the fuck? I love, dude, what the fuck? The sword slice. It is literally a line of fucking light. It is a blade of light that slices everything it touches. It slices Ryder with one blow, soars up into the night sky, cuts through the clouds, and disappears. I think if that thing were used on the ground, a great disorder in the land would remain and never disappear. So in other words, it was Saber who caused what happened 10 years ago. Her sword was not invisible. It merely did not allow others to see it. Because they're not worthy. It's literally like a unique take on the sword and the stone, but it's the invisible sword in this case. Bro, Saber literally just pulled out fucking Excalibur. I'm not sure what the gender bent name for Arthur would be, but I think we figured out her real name. A golden sword that captivates all who sees it, and its all too famous true name, Excalibur. Said to have existed in England, it is the sword of the king known as the symbol of knighthood. The strongest noble phantasm of all servants, sealed in numerous boundary fields. So, multiple times, they're just faking us out with what these noble phantasms might or might not be. The sword of the king. Yeah, I was gonna say, this also seems to confirm that Saber is English. That is Saber's symbol of heroism. God, that theme is awesome. What the literal fuck just happened? The rooftop is silent. Yeah, I don't know if we're going another day after that. The wind is gone and nothing makes a sound. I can't approach Saber and I just stand there. I don't know if I'm still confused or if my heart is still captivated by that sword. Yeah, it looked pretty cool from what we saw. My mind is acting strange and only insignificant things come in my head. Why does she have that sword? That golden sword is the property of the well-known King of Knights. Well, you see, Shiro, the King of Knights might be the Queen of Knights. I try to think how she ended up with the sword, and I notice that I'm trying to avoid the simplest of the answers. There's no need for complicated guesses. That sword has always been hers. That's why her true name is easy to figure out. I don't know what kind of mistake was made, but there's only one person she can be if she has that holy sword. Yeah, clearly there was a mistake in translation here. King Arthur. Saber does not move from the stance that completed her blow. I should run up to her, but my body won't move. Up to now, I only understood in words that Saber was a heroic spirit. Perhaps I realized that she was a hero of the past, something different from me, and I hesitated to go near her. Oh, that was fucking Shinji's little bitch ass! I hear a scream. Something is burning in the background. I look in that direction. There, I see a book burning into ashes. Oh yeah, Shinji's book. Wait, his command spell was the book? Shinji is there watching the burning book.
Shinji.
He must have realized that Ryder is defeated and he's at a disadvantage. I can't believe we beat a servant. I can't... This sense of accomplishment is amazing. Shinji turns his back to me as if to flee and runs towards the exit. Shinji jumps through the door leading to the stairs.
Mate, Shinji!
I can't let him go now. But the instant I start to follow him, out of the corner of my eye, Saber collapses. Yep. Wow, that was literally the line. Holy shit. My mind freezes. Shinji is running away and Saber is on the ground. Apparently Shinji doesn't fucking matter anymore. We beat Ryder. His command spell's fucked. He's not a... Well, I mean, he's still possibly going to shoot up the school. But... And Sakura needs to get out of that fucking house immediately. But... All of those things aside, he's not going to murder like a gazillion people with magic. So that's an improvement, at least. Oh, shut the fuck up. That's not even a choice. What the fuck? Of course we're gonna run to Saber. What the hell? This is really not the time. So, yeah. So it's like there's two. Interesting. Yeah, because the Blood Fort was rank B, but here's the rank A+. Reigns of the Heroic Cavalry. Bellerophon. All abilities increased by a rank when in use. AC. Which one's AC? I still don't know what AC is. AC plus 100 will also be in effect. It is a physical attack that destroys the target by controlling a divine beast and using its powerful charge. Supposedly, the maximum speed is 400 or 500 kilometers per hour. It is a Noble Phantasm of the highest level in both attack and defense, as defense also increases while in use due to Pegasus's divine protection. Bellerophon is the name of the young man in Greek mythology who supposedly managed to ride Pegasus. Interesting. I actually didn't know that. I'm surprised I didn't know that. That's interesting. So... But we still didn't learn her true name after all that. And, yeah. I think hers we're going to learn very soon. But, yeah. Sword of Promised Victory, Excalibur. Sword of Light. It is not a weapon made by men, but a divine weapon forged by the planet. It is a noble phantasm that is the greatest of holy swords. It transforms the possessor's magical energy into light, increasing its kinetic energy by converging and accelerating it, and allows for usage of sorcery on the level of divine spirits. To an observer, it looks like a giant beam of light, but its target point is the tip. It is the ultimate slash that cuts through everything in the area that light goes through. Its enormous power heats space around the tip, and as a result, it is interpreted as a wave of light that mows across the earth. You could also call it a directed energy weapon. It is rank A++. It is an anti-castle Noble Phantasm. Its range is 1 to 99, and its maximum target is 1,000 people. So it's just absolutely busted. And this is truly what makes Saber the GOAT, because her Noble Phantasm is the Noble Phantasm. And I'm sure we'll get more updates later. We're fucking running to Saber. What the fuck? I can't leave Saber alone. Writer is gone, and the book that holds Shinji's command spell has burned. Shinji doesn't have a servant anymore, and he has lost his command spells as well. I can call the match settled. Even though I would love to kill him, but that's not in the cards. So the priority right now is Saber.
Saber!
I run to her. The golden sword isn't in her hands anymore. It has disappeared and only Saber herself remains, but Saber doesn't look well at all. She has sweat on her brow and her breathing is weak, yet irregular as if she has a fever.
そんな。おい、セイバー。何が。
I call out to her timidly, but she doesn't answer. Yeah, because she used fucking Excalibur, and clearly that's gonna fuck her up. She's unconscious.
セイバー。
I touch her forehead. I automatically pull my hand back. It's unusually hot. If this is a fever, she's over 40 degrees.
セイバー。おい、しっかりしろ。
Obviously Celsius. Saber, hey, are you alright? Even when I call out to her, her only reply is heavy breathing. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know, but we can't just stay here like
う
this.
ちに連れて行くからな。文句があるなら後にしてくれ。
I pick Saber up. She's light. Oops. So it's the same thing, it's just this... She was light before, but she's lighter now. No, more than that, she's...
ちゃんと生きてる。
At least she's alive. Saber is still Saber. I'm angry at myself for hesitating. Damn it. So what if she's a hero? No matter who Saber is, she's still right now... She's here right now and she's warm. How stupid of me to think there's a wall between us in spite of that.
すぐに帰るからな。それまでおとなしくしてろよ、セイバー。
I run, still holding Saber in my arms. There's no feeling of victory. All I feel is Saber in my arms, breathing painfully. Holy fucking shit. And back to Tosaka.
終わったわよ。和室に寝かせてきたけど、あの分じゃしばらく目を覚まさないでしょうね。
Well, it's slightly better than the other
そう
version.
か。遠坂がいてくれて助かった。俺じゃセイバーの手当てなんてできないからな。
まあ、鎧を脱がせて楽にさせただけだから、お礼を言われるほどじゃないわ。
Yeah, that's the problem.
セイバーの体も良くならないし、私は何もしてないもの。
Our situation seems to only be nominally better than it was in the other scenario. But still, having Tosaka around helped. She was the one that yelled at me when I came home in a panic about what to do. She worked out Saber's situation and advised me to take her armor off and let her sleep. It's been an hour since then. Somehow communicating with the unconscious Saber, Tosaka took her armor off.
それで何があったの？
Well, it turns out our waifu is actually basically fucking king. King of the Knights. You know, round table, sword in the stone. Excalibur!
シンジを探しに行って帰ってきたと思ったらセイバーがあれでしょ。一波乱あったのはわかるけど、説明してくれないかしら。
This time we actually have more details, but I'm not sure if Shiro is gonna want to tell you. I hesitate. Saber's Noble Phantasm. I should avoid revealing her true name. It's not something I can reveal by my judgment alone.
ライダーを倒した。シンジはレイジを失ってリタイアしたよ。ただ、その時にセイバーが宝具を使って、その後に倒れたんだ。
Yep.
セイバーの宝具。
Yep, she's curious. Tosaka falls into a meaningful silence. She's Tosaka, so she should be able to tell that it was no ordinary matter.
まあ、追求するのは勘弁してあげるわ。今のあなたたちはそれどころじゃないものね。
I mean, she wants to know, and that's a tough call. I don't know whether or not you tell her. Like, that's a really tough call. Especially when you can't even trade it. Like, archers, we don't even know what's going on with archers, so they can't even trade, like, that knowledge.
それどころじゃないってどういうことだ？
That's a decision they have to make together if they want to tell her.
言葉通りの意味よ。あなただってうすうすは気づいているんでしょ。
And yeah, we're back
この
to
まま
this
じゃ
as well.
セイバーが消えるってことぐらい。
Calmly. Tosaka mentions the result I have avoided thinking about.
消えるって、セイバーが消えるっていうのか、お前は。
当然でしょ。セイバーの魔力はほとんど空っぽなのよ。セイバーの宝具がどんなものだったかは知らないけど、よっぽど魔力を使うものだったんでしょうね。
It definitely did, no doubt about that.
セイバーは自分の中の魔力をほぼ消費してしまった。今彼女が苦しんでいるのはね、消えようとしている自分を必死に留めているからよ。
魔力がないから消える？セイバーは傷を負ってもいないのに消えるっていうのか。
Yeah, and this is what we got to also in the other timeline.
ええ、サーバントにとっては外的ダメージより魔力切れの方が深刻な問題よ。
Of course.
霊体であるサーバントに肉体を与えているのは魔力だもの。それがなくなれば消えるしかない。
Yep.
もっともそんなことにならないようにマスターはサーバントに魔力を送るんだけど、あなたはそれができないでしょ。
Yeah, among our issues, that's probably the biggest one we have in this game, honestly.
だからセイバーは自分の魔力だけで戦うしかない。切れたらそれまでよ。こんなこと一番初めに説明したでしょ。
Yep. That's certainly what Saber told me.
けど今までは大丈夫だったじゃないか。セイバーだって眠っていれば持ち直すって。
It's a little different when she uses her Noble Phantasm.
それはセイバーの魔力量が桁外れだったからよ。そうね。確かにセイバーの魔力はまだ残ってる。彼女ならまだ消えずに肉体を保つぐらいの魔力は回復できるとは思う。
Well, that's slightly better again than the others, nominally better than the other situation.
けど結局はそこ止まりよ。セイバーはずっと今の状態で戦うことになる。宝具を使うなんてもってのほか。次に宝具を使えばセイバーは間違いなく消え去るでしょうね。
Yikes.
次に宝具を使えば消える。
No, first of all, I can't let her fight in this state. I don't want to see her slumped over in pain again.
理解できた？結局セイバーを以前の状態に戻す方法は2つだけよ。
Yeah, where he has to make the choice again.
マスターがサーバントに魔力を提供するか、サーバントが自分で魔力を補充するか。
Have a servant collect magical energy herself. That would mean killing innocent people like Ryder did.
まさかセイバーはそんなことはしない。セイバー自身がそんなことはしないと言ったんだ。
でしょうね。一般人を犠牲にするぐらいならセイバーは潔く消えるでしょう。
Without a doubt.
なら方法は一つだけよ。セイバーを消したくないのならあなたが魔力を提供するしかないわ。
Okay.
それはできるならとっくにそうしてるさ。
Yeah?
けど俺は魔力を提供する方法なんて知らない。あいにく遠坂みたいに何でもできるってわけじゃないんだ。
まあね。共有の魔術を教えてあげても間に合わない。シローは魔術師に向いてないから覚えるのに1年ぐらいかかるだろうし、覚えたところで使えないわ。
So that's a just totally useless point. Unless you had some other reason, some other cheat way. Since why else would you even bring that up?
まあ召喚時にセイバーとパスは通っているはずだからまだ他に方法があるかもしれないけど。
Tosaka ponders. It's only for a moment. Tosaka looks at me with an expression suppressing her emotions.
いい？セイバーを助けたいのなら彼女自身に人を襲わせて魂を食べさせるしかない。
Unfortunately, that does seem to be what we keep doubling back to.
それはあなたにも分かってると思うけど。
Yeah. That's the most realistic measure, yep. But that means...
もちろんセイバーは嫌がるでしょう。けど 放っておけば遅かれ早かれセーバーは消えて、
And now we're
あな
back
た
to
は他の
having
マスターから狙われることになる。
to make a choice. And this episode might end up going really fucking long because of it, but I'm probably going to keep going and try to do the next day, or at least get to a really cool stopping point. So I think, you know, there's been a lot of silly stuff going on. The bonus episode might be on the shorter side because of it, but I think this episode, the bonus episode, you guys are getting in a few days, but this one might be on the long side. Saber will disappear? I can't even imagine such a thing. I still feel her body heat in my hands which were carrying her.
なら答えは一つよ。霊樹を使いなさい、エミヤ君。それで最悪の事態は避けられる。
That means ordering Saber to kill innocent people? I can't say anything. I resent what Tosaka is saying, but at the same time, another part of me recognizes that this is the only solution.
決断はあなたに任せるわ。セイバーは眠らせておけば落ち着くだろうけど、
Yeah, now we're
そ
back
れでも
to
限界は近いでしょうね。
him having to make the choice.
決断をするなら次に襲われるまでにね。
Ah, make one by the next time we get attacked. That's better than tomorrow morning. Again, nominally better situation. Tosaka leaves the living room. I can't even look up. I can only listen to Tosaka's departing footsteps. Interesting. Now we're gonna get the end of the day. And now we're back to Dragon Slay. All right, I'm actually gonna keep going. I like I said, I've been really enjoying this part. Now we actually properly finished day 10, February 9th, and we're on to day 11, Dragon Slay, February 10th. Excalibur. I mean, what else is there to say? I'm very tempted to call this episode Excalibur. I'll probably just call it something like Saber's True Name, or Saber's Noble Phantasm, or just something like that. But I'm very tempted to just call this Excalibur, because, yeah. That seems like the obvious title of this part. Jesus Christ. Fucking amazing, guys. Absolutely phenomenal. Arturia. The girl who had just finished her rite of passage would be known by that name from that day on. Ah! Arturia, huh? Arthur? Arturia? This isn't Shiro dreaming. This is Arturia dreaming. Saber? It was a time of chaos and war. It began with the demise of an empire. An empire believed to be indestructible was only awaiting its destruction at the hands of invading barbarians. To prepare for the war against these barbarians, the empire deprived this island country of any military forces. That was the beginning. Once her country lost the empire's protection, it could not escape becoming independent, and it broke into smaller countries in no time. The barbarian invasions, self-destructive strife between clans, a long period of war that would later be called the Dark Ages. She was born into this period as the heir to the throne. It was a long period of chaos. The king believed the Magus's prophecy and yearned for the birth of his appointed successor. But the child that was born was not the one the king desired. The child was not a boy. Yep. And it all makes sense. Even if the child was fated to become a king, he could not make a child that was not a boy his successor. The girl was entrusted to the king's vassals and was raised as a child of a mere knight. The king fell into despair, but the Magus was delighted. The sex of the one who would become king had never mattered. He was confident that the fact of the girl being separated from the castle until the day of the prophecy was proof that she would become king. There it is. The girl grew up as the successor under the simple and wise old knight. The old knight did not really believe the Magus's prophecy. He just felt the same air from the girl as he did from his king. So he felt that he must raise her as a knight, and he wished her to grow. But the knight did not even have to wish for such a thing, as the girl trained day after day to become stronger than anyone. If only a king can save a ruined country headed for death, the girl swore to bear a sword for that reason alone, without ever being told so. So, the day of the prophecy arrived. Knights and lords from around the country gathered to be selected as the king. Every one of them expected the selection to be through jousting, if the most superior one was to become a king. No, it's simply which one of you can grab this sword. But the only thing prepared at the place of selection was a naked sword stuck in a stone. On the hilt of the sword was a golden inscription: "Whosoever pulleth out this sword of this stone is rightwise king, born of England." Many knights grabbed the sword, following that command, but no one was able to pull the sword out, and the knights began the expected method of selection by jousting. As the girl was only an apprentice, she was not qualified to joust. The girl neared the deserted stone of selection and reached out for the sword without hesitation.
いやいや、それを手に取る前にきちんと考えた方がいい。
When she turned around, before her was the most feared Magus in the country. The Magus said that she would no longer be human once she took a hold of the sword. The girl only responded with a nod. Becoming a king means no longer being human. She was prepared for that ever since she was born. In short, a king is someone who kills everyone to protect everyone. Oh. The young girl thought about it every night and shuddered until morning came. No day passed that she did not fear that fact, but the girl said that it would end this day. The sword was pulled out as if it were only natural to do so, and the place was filled with light. In that instant, she became something not human. The king's gender does not matter. No one will care about the king's appearance or even notice if the king acts like a king. Even if anybody noticed that the king was female, there would be no problem if she was a good king. Perhaps because of the sword's magic, the girl's growth stopped at that time as well. That makes sense too! I love that we're just explaining everything. I'm not gonna lie, this dream sequence story thing is maybe the best thing maybe the best part of the game so far. This retelling of King Arthur is phenomenal. Many knights feared it as ominous, but most of them praised their master's immortality as divine. And thus, the time of the king who would become a legend started. Yes, the legend of King Arthur. Oh, that's a cool shot. The battles of the new king were indeed the acts of a god of war. The king always led from the front. If the king doesn't lead, how do you expect their subordinates to follow? Shoutouts to Lelouch. No enemies could stand in her way. Arturia, the god of war. There was no defeat for a body admired as a dragon in human form. For 10 years and 12 battles, she knew only victory. Those were the days she ran through as the king. She never turned back and was never disgraced. She was raised as the king and fulfilled her obligations as the king. What a fucking shot. What a fucking sword. What the fuck? That sword is insane. Is that why I saw such a figure? Her soul must still be on the battlefield. Oh, is this actually Shiro? Before daybreak, resting her body in the wind under the indigo blue sky, she just gazes into the distance. The sky is high, and the clouds are flowing fast. Under the clear air, she is looking at the great army she must face with her sword in hand. That figure is burned in and will not go away. She and her sword are one. The sword from the stone that chose the king. I think the brilliance of the sword that selected her fate is also her brilliance. I can't. This is fucking amazing. But I wonder in the dream, that sword is different from the one she had. It is similar, but different. The one she used last night is different from this sword. So, how did she lose such a fine sword? Interesting. Interesting. What a dream. When I wake up, I'm in my room. It's light outside. Oh my god, it's so weird to see that. There it is! Never found out her true name. That's crazy. Oh, that's phenomenal. The once and future king, England's legendary hero, King Arthur. He is a hero well known as the model for knights, but it is said that he actually did exist. The real King Arthur was called Dux Bellerum, the King of Battles, and he was a great leader who led the 12 kings of northern England, Gododin, against foreign invasions by such people as the Picts and the Scottish. The identity of the real great leader, King Arthur, has many variations, and there is even an opinion that there were two people that correspond to the king. One was a pure Briton, Arthur. The other was a Roman, Arturius. This opinion states that the legend of King Arthur that is known today is one story, merged from the accomplishments of these two. The legend of King Arthur is all too famous. The exceptional magus Merlin prepared a sword and said, "Whoso pulleth out the sword of this stone is right wise king of all England." When Arthur pulled out the sword, he was recognized as the king of England. And with the right knights of the Round Table gathered around him, he went through many adventures. Arthur was the child of the king of Britain, Uther Pendragon, and the wife of his servant, Duke Cornwall, the blue-eyed Igraine. So it would be Arturia Pendragon. God, that's such a cool name. As a price for Merlin's assistance in ensuring the success of his love for Igraine, he had to leave their child in Merlin's care. "I will properly guide this child, one bearing a great destiny, and protect him from the crisis of the royal family." Merlin entrusted Arthur to Uther's loyal knight, Sir Ector, and Arthur was raised as his adopted child until the day he pulled out the chosen sword. The days of battle and troubles that followed after he pulled out the sword and became king became a great story of medieval knighthood. The great deeds of King Arthur ruling over Camelot as the great king of knights and saving England by leading many great men are all one could ask from a hero. Arthur's all too famous sword, the holy sword Excalibur, was not the chosen sword. Rather, it was the treasured sword of fairyland given to him by the Lady of the Lake, Yes, of course. Under Merlin's guidance. After he lost the chosen sword. That is true. Yes, of course, the Lady of the Lake. Yes. Oh my god. The Noble Knights. It's literally called the Noble Phantasm, right? This is quite literally the Noble Phantasm. After giving King Arthur the holy sword Excalibur, the fairy princess of the lake, Vivian, became his guardian. King Arthur's lifelong enemy, Princess Morgana, was in existence opposed to Arthur's guardian, Vivian. But Morgana herself was also a fairy of the lake that protects the king. King Arthur ordered the Knights of the Round Table to search for the Holy Grail. And yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah? Yeah? There is that. Isn't that funny? It all comes full circle, doesn't it? In the King Arthur legend, the search for the Holy Grail comprised the core episodes in the story of the Knights of the Round Table, but only 3 knights were commanded to search, and King Arthur himself did not go on the journey. Of the 3 knights, the perfect knight Lancelot did not make it to the Holy Grail due to his unfaithful flirting, and his son Galahad did obtain the Holy Grail but abandoned it due to his lack of greed. The end of the legend was marked by King Arthur's death. Arthur's life had been sought many times by the Princess Morgana, his older sister, by a different father. At the end of the battle between him and the knight Mordred, born from Princess Morgana's scheme, his legend closed its curtain. King Arthur's fall started when his most trusted knight Lancelot disappeared, after becoming ashamed about his affair with Arthur's wife, Guinevere. Losing his trusted knight, losing the sheath of the holy sword, and even losing his own country while on a long expedition, King Arthur faced his last battle in the land of Camelon. The holy sword, Excalibur, was entrusted to Sir Bedivere on King Arthur's deathbed, and he returned it to the Lady of the Lake. King Arthur's corpse was carried by the Ladies of the Lake to Avalon, the land where heroes sleep. A legend is handed down that King Arthur will awaken from his sleep in Avalon when England is in peril, so that he can save his homeland. Arthur bears the red dragon that symbolizes the British people, and he himself has the attributes of the dragon. Since he has the karma of the dragon, the embodiment of divine mystery, and the transcendent, he has strong magical qualities. On the other hand, he is weak against heroes who have defeated dragons in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, this would be a perfect place to stop. But I want to keep going. I guess I fell asleep after coming back to my room, unable to make a decision. You're connecting with her, clearly. It was a strange dream. Events I shouldn't know about. Things I don't know about Saber. Is it possible for me to dream about them?
でも確かにあれはセイバーの持ってた剣とは違ったよな。
The chosen sword versus the holy sword, right? I vaguely think. Saber's true identity that was hidden. To be honest, I still can't accept who she is. Saber is just Saber. I can't change my attitude just because I know who she was before. And I don't think Saber would want that either.
けど似合ってたな。
The sword from yesterday suited her. The sword in my dream also suited her because she was destined to wield both. No, you could say I was fascinated. With yesterday's sword and the sword in my dream, it seems I fall for swords easily. I mean, you're destined to wield a sword yourself, Shiro. It's very obvious. The game has given us so many signs, And one of the biggest ones being that you pulled fucking King Arthur. Jesus Christ. Talk about a good gotcha. I also thought Lancer's Lance was beautiful when I saw it, but my interest in swords is exceptional. It seems I'm easily attracted to swords. Okay, bro, we get it. You're into cock. We get it. You want fucking Arturia's big fat penis inside of you. Jesus Christ. Because it's confirmed that she has a dick now. I mean, come on. I mean, it was kind of obvious when her class name was Saber, but now it's even more obvious. That is a girl that's going to fuck you in the ass, hopefully. I take a deep breath and reach up to my sweaty face. I wipe the sweat off my forehead. Even though it's winter, my body is burning. It feels like my blood is getting hotter and I feel restless. Yeah, did they have the connection? Are they linking up? My body has been strangely hot. The hand that bears the command spell is hot as if holding a pocket heater. Cause this kind of sounds a little bit like what we had with Rin and Archer in the prologue. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I take a deep breath to try to calm myself. Saber has not woken up even once since last night, but it still seems she's getting better. Her breathing is calm now and there's no sign she is gasping in pain. Saber is sleeping peacefully. This is an everyday morning scene. Wow. If I let her sleep like this, she might get back to normal. Not quite. Then there'll be no need to have her kill people. Then, just like now, Saber will be with me and... Yep. I hit the wall. I'm so weak it makes me sick. I get up, trying not to make a sound. I don't know when Saber will wake up, but I have to make a decision before she does. Josaka must still be asleep. There's no energy in the house and it feels like it's abandoned. No, I'm just depressed. I can't decide, so I'm wandering around in a gray state, and that causes the world to be vague. I hear something cut through the air. Saber? I remember that sound. Yeah, it's like I don't feel like cooking breakfast right now, so I'll take a walk and check it out. Yeah, it sounds like someone's swinging a shinai or a sword or something. It's much colder than usual outside. Must be really cold and my burning body feels it. It's so cold that it might snow. From the shed, okay. The sound is coming periodically. I cross the yard, breathing out white puffs. I bet she's practicing her sword shit and she's actually been up or something. Oh, it's Archer. Okay, he's there in front of the shed. I guess I kind of knew he would be here, so I wasn't surprised. He must have been shooting arrows until now. He lowers his bow in displeasure as soon as he sees me. To be fair, he is Archer.
どうするつもりもない。元より矢など使っていないのだ。いていないものが当たる道理はなかろう。
He doesn't need to tell me that. The sound was Archer's bowstring cutting through the air. I don't know why, but Archer isn't using any arrows, but only pulling his bow.
いい弓だな。今まで納得いかなかったけど、お前本当にアーチャーだったんだ。
さて、私はお前が知っている弓使いとは違うからな。弓道など聞かれても答えられんぞ。
Interesting.
お前たちの弓は己に当てる射であり、私のは敵に当てる矢だ。 お前の言うアーチャーというのは礼節を重んじる者のことだろう。
Damn. That's deep. He curls his lips offensively. As I thought, I can't get along with him.
誰もお前に弓のことを聞こうだなんて思ってないよ。
There is a big theme of archery, ironically, though, in this game as well.
ただ、何をしているか気になっただけだ。
見ての通り、調子を測っているのだが。
That makes sense.
セイバーにつけられた傷も癒えた。いつまでも見張り役というわけにもいくまい。
Yeah. I see. He's healed now, then that means Tosaka should return to the war. I turn away. Since Tosaka and Archer are rejoining the battle, I must make a decision. I have to think seriously somewhere I can be alone.
斬新という言葉があるな。
Follow through. Yep, this is relevant in archery, it's relevant in tennis, it's relevant in baseball. All in different ways. But kind of the same.
ことを済ませた後に保つ間のことだ。
Yep.
私の弓術とお前の弓道で唯一共通しているものがそれだと思うのだが。
Interesting.
なんだよ。お前なんかに発説を解かれる覚えはないぞ。
まあ聞け。矢を放った後、体は自然と場に止まるという。それを斬新というそうだな。
Sure. Certainly, there are 8 movements in archery called the 8 stages of shooting. The last one, the follow-through, is the state that comes after shooting an arrow, but...
ああ、それがどうしたって言うんだ、お前。
心構えの話だ。斬新とは己の行為。放った矢が的中するかを確かめるものではない。矢とは放つ前にすでに的中しているものだ。射手は自らのイメージ通りに指を離す。
Yeah, because once it's released, there's no... It's either gonna happen or it's not, right?
ならば当たるか当たらぬかなど確認する必要はない。
Sure.
射の前に当たらぬと思えば当たらぬし、当たると思えば当たっているのだから。
It obviously isn't that simple, but I understand what he's trying to say, especially in the context of fate and the way that, like, fate works, both this, in both senses. I mean, the word fate and the game fate.
そんなことあるか。どんなに当たるって思っても当たらない射はある。思うだけで当たるって言うんなら、誰だって100発100中だ。
But it's deeper than that. It's like truly knowing that you'll hit the target is not the same.
そうかな。少なくともお前は100発100中だろ。
His statement makes my heart jump. That's certainly...
まあ、そんな話はどうでもいい。言いたいことは一つだけだ。斬新とは矢が当たるかどうかを見極めるものではない。放った矢がどのような結果になるかなど分かりきったことだからな。ならば斬新とはその結果を受け入れるための心構えではなかったか。
A preparation to accept that result. Why is this guy so goated and like so fucking goated in every sense? I feel like every time Archer talks, it is just Wisdom City and it's glorious.
分かってる。要するに最後まで見届けろって言いたいんだろう、お前は。
そういうことだ。セイバーのことは聞いた。彼女がこのような状態になるのは初めから分かっていたことだろう。魔力の提供もなしで戦っていればいつかは消える。
I mean, that's definitely where we're trending towards.
それはもう決まっていたことだ。ならば
Follow through. All that's left is to accept the result. Is he saying that no matter what happens to Saber because of my decisions, all I can do is see through what happens? God, he's so good. I turned my back to Archer. I will leave this guy once and for all. We'll see about that.
あ、それともう一つ気がついていないようだから教えておこう。
I hear a voice behind me.
セイバーはな、宝具を使えば自分が消えると分かっていたはずだ。彼女はおそらく最後まで宝具を使う気はなかったのだろう。
I bet. The usual offensive tone isn't present in his voice.
にもかかわらず宝具を使った理由は一つ。
To protect you.
セイバーは自身が消えることよりお前を守ることを選んだのだ。
And you need to know that.
それを
Never
決し
forget
て
that.
忘れるな。
Yes. Yes! God, I could suck your cock right now, Archer. Jesus Christ, you are the best. Christ, he's like right there with Rin. And like in some ways he's better than Rin. In a lot of ways Rin's better than him, but they are like the goated duo. Like, I need so badly the perspectives to switch back to Rin and Archer, or to Rin for Fate's Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, because, like, please, just please do it, just for me, please. His voice holds only honest sincerity. Oh, that was an interesting transition. Status and weapon screen updated, huh? Oh shit. Oh shit, we're traveling around. Let's not get kidnapped this time. Christ. What got updated? We already had this. Abilities? Yep. Okay, so Magical Energy Burst A. This transfers magical energy into one's weapon and body, and by releasing the magical energy instantaneously, it increases one's ability. Yep. Yeah, I think I think this was all here before. Yeah, normal weapon without strong divine protection will not be able to endure her magical energy fueled attack and will be destroyed with one blow. And then, yeah, the charisma to a B rank is enough to lead a country. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. And then, okay, so what? Archer? Yeah, I was gonna say, no, we don't have anything more on Archer. What actually updated? Okay. Golden Sword of Assured Victory, Caliburn. A holy sword that symbolizes England's King of Knights, King Arthur. It is the symbol of a king pulled out from a chosen sword under the stone under the guidance of Magus Merlin. It is a different sword from the one granted by the Fairy of the Lake, and its characteristics as a Noble Phantasm differ, but it seems Saber is more attached to this holy sword. Since a sword is a symbol of power, a sword carried by a king usually ends up being degraded to the status of an ornament covered by decorations. This is the biggest difference between Excalibur and Caliburn. In exchange for being a beautiful sword, its effectiveness as a weapon does not match that of Excalibur. In the legend, it is said that it broke when King Arthur fought in a battle going against the principles of chivalry. Interesting. Park is empty as usual. Maybe it helps that it's colder today than usual. We're about to run into someone. There's no one around, and it looks like I'm the only one out at this time. I sit on the bench sluggishly. I came to a deserted place as I wished to. Now that I'm here, I must decide what to do. There are no choices that allow me to postpone the problem. If I'm to end the Holy Grail War by defeating other masters, I need Saber to stay. No, even without that, I don't want her to disappear. But that means having Saber attack people, like Ryder did. There's no way I can do that. Making Saber do such a thing would be like telling her to die. First of all, Saber would surely refuse, but... yeah, when I hang my head, I see my left hand. I have 2 command spells left. If I use one, I can force Saber to follow my command. I bite my lip and discard the ridiculous thought. I don't know how long I remain slumped on this bench, but just as my fingers start to tremble from the cold... Yeah, there's Ilya.
もういないと思ったらこんなところにいる。
I'm suddenly called.
やっぱりそうだ。こんにちは、シロ。浮かない顔してるけど、何かあったの？
イリア、お前また一人でこんなところまでやってきたのか。
Yes, she is.
危ないぞ。どこにマスターの目が光ってるか。
Yep, this is a similar conversation. As I start to say that, I'm amazed at my stupidity. Ilya's a master too. I shouldn't be worrying about this in any way. Aren't we enemies?
悪い。今はイリアと話をする余裕がないんだ。せっかく会えたけど、話し相手になってやれない。今日は冷えるし、帰った方がいいぞ。
Sitting down on the bench, I dismiss Ilya. There are things I need to talk to her about, but I have my hands full with Saber right now. What's going on? Ilya doesn't say anything and she just stares at me as if I'm a stranger.
イリア、いや別にお前を邪険にしてるんじゃないんだ。今はちょっといろいろと立て込んでいて。
知ってるわ。セイバーが消えかけてるんでしょ。それでシロはどうしようかって考えてるのよね。
It's a worthy question for sure. Suddenly, the girl in front of me says this coldly as if she is someone else.
イリア。
Yeah.
そんなことで悩むなんてバカみたい。シロがそんなだからライダーのマスターにも逃げられたのよ。負けたやつなんて殺しちゃえばいいだけなのに。
Sure. I move my legs. It's like the two sides of Ilya. I know it's bad to stay sitting down, so I put my power in them to stand up. But my body does not move, as if entranced by Ilya. Yeah, she's put that spell on you.
イリア、お前なんでそんなこと。
She was enjoying the show.
言うまでもないでしょ。昨日の夜ね、私もあのビルにいただけよ。もっとも、さすがにビルの中で様子を見てるしかなかったけど。
Sure. I try to move my arms and legs, but they won't move at all. No, it feels like they're stiffening the more I put power into them. It's those eyes. Looking into Ilya's red eyes is making my body go numb and...
あ、もう金縛りになったんだ。
Yep.
シロったら守りも何もないんだもの。一人でいれば簡単に捕まえられるって思ったけど、こんなに簡単に行くなんて可愛いな。
Yep. Yep, this is all going exactly the same as in the bad ending.
無駄だよお兄ちゃん。そうなったらもう動けないわ。もうじき声も出なくなるけど、心配しなくていいよ。私もね、今日はお話をしに来たわけじゃないもの。
Yep. Murderous intent mixes into Ilya's gaze. This is the same Ilya as that night when she was the master of Berserker.
俺をここで殺すつもりか。
Gritting my teeth, I gather all my strength. Yep, there's the static, but I can't even twitch my fingers. Every nerve in my body is wrapped by Ilya's stare.
うん。だってもうマスターでいてもしょうがないでしょ。セイバーが消えたらシローは一人きりだもの。いつまでもマスターにさせてられないわ。
Yep, that all lines up.
戦う手段がなくなったシローなんて簡単に殺せるんだから。
Yep. Ilya raises her hand. Her white, slender fingers touch my chest. Oh, Jesus. That's...
他の人に殺される前に見つけられてよかった。
Yeah, that's different from what we got last time.
それじゃあ、おやすみなさい、お兄ちゃん。どうせセイバーも消えるんだから、早い方がすっきりするでしょ。
My vision fades. Sensation in my limbs is already gone, and now my vision is gone as well. How long has it been since I fell into this darkness? While I wonder whether or not I'm dead, my consciousness fades away. The same thing as before, it looks like. My body is burning. Even though my consciousness is deep in the darkness, my body burning is appealing that it is alive. I see. I guess I'm alive then. But even if that's the case, that's only for the moment. Ilya said it too.
戦う手段のないシロなんて簡単に殺せるんだから。
That's true. She's right. And there's the music again. This is usually death music. I can't fight at all without Saber. The Holy Grail War is a battle between servants. I cannot possibly match one of those servants. The fact has been proven many times already. It was a merciless beating. As Saber said, my battle against a servant is to survive. I couldn't even do that. I was cut all over my body and on top of that, thrown to the ground from a third-floor window. I only survived because of an abnormality in my body that I don't even understand. That fact is so vexing that it makes me mad. I cannot stop the disaster occurring around me just because the one in front of me was unbeatable. Even though I chose to fight as a master to stop people getting hurt, but I could not protect them. It pisses me off. The superhero I've admired since childhood always has to win or it's meaningless. Yeah. My body is burning. My whole body is demanding that I must win. But I don't have any means of winning, nor a way to fight. How would I be able to fight? I don't have the skills to fight alongside Saber without being a burden to her.
それも間違いだ。エミやシロは格闘には向かない。
Yep, there's the line.
お前の戦いは精神の戦い。己との戦いであるべきだからだ。
Yep. Suddenly, I remember the back of the man who said those words. Good old Archer.
戦いになれば、エミやシロに勝ち目などない。お前のスキルでは何をやってもサーバントには通じない。
I know. I realize that more than ever now.
ならば、せめてイメージしろ。現実でかなわない相手なら、想像の中で勝て。自身が勝てないのなら、勝てるものを幻想しろ。
He doesn't need to tell me something I already know. If I'm going to win, it'll only be in my head. But what could I win with? I can't imagine myself beating a servant. I can't handily deceive myself, and an image created by deceiving myself will be full of flaws. There's no way I would be able to match a servant, a first-class illusion, with such a third-rate image. Why do I think it's gonna be Caliburn? So, what will I be able to beat? And what will I beat it with? I am searching for the answer to that question. Yep! Searching for the answer even now. A golden sword. Holy shit, it's a sword for her alone. I don't want it myself. It's just beautiful. I just want to hold it in my hands if it's permitted. Jeez, it's a bad habit for an amateur magus. Since all I can do is examine the contents, I see such dreams unsuitable for my position. But if this is a dream, I should be allowed to at least think about it. He's gonna form something from nothing. First, I assumed the basic structure and reproduced the composing material. Oh, the basic form from when I used the strengthening magic isn't enough, as I thought. Strengthening is changing something that's already there, so it's meaningless with something that isn't there at all. So if I'm gonna remember that sword, I have to put more effort into it. He's gonna make a sword appear out of nothing. And that lines up with what we learned from Tosaka. It's well before the basics. It's the process full of waste that I came up with before Kiritsugu taught me how to use the strengthening magic. It was... How was it supposed to take shape? Yeah, that's a lot of ellipses. That's a lot of ellipses. That's a lot of ellipses. Dude, are we gonna run down the whole box? When I come to, I'm in a ridiculous place. This is Ilya's Japan house. This isn't just some place I've never seen before. It is a bed with a gorgeous canopy and a long carpet that makes it look like you could sink to your ankles. Yeah, there's the arrow canopy, bed canopy. A stone fireplace that is not just decorative, but actually functional. Or at least in one version of the game, I guess. The patterns on the wall aren't just wallpaper, as they are actually engraved. I'm used to mansions like Shinji's house, but this is on a different level. Bro, everyone in this game's rich as fuck. It's embarrassing to say, but this is like a castle you'd read about in fairy tales. Isn't that ironic? My mind almost falls unconscious. My body is strangely heavy. Is my blood circulating poorly? I feel like I'll fall asleep again if I let my guard down. You got fucked, possibly literally, by Ilya. I try to remember with my hazy mind. Oh yeah, I was bound by Ilya and lost consciousness. No one is in the room. My body feels heavy, but it seems I could at least raise my arm. Yeah. My dazed mind instantly awakens. Realizing the danger I'm in, I study my situation first. Yeah, just tied with rope, apparently. I'm not in the worst condition, but it makes no difference to the fact that I cannot move. My body is still numb, and I can't even get up with my hands tied. There is no clock in the room. The window is behind me. I turn around as much as I can, but the curtain is draped over it, and I can't quite tell what's outside. But the sun is already set outside. I met Illy in the morning, so that means at least half a day has passed. I can't be doing this now. I don't know where I am, but I have to go home to Saber as quickly as I can. Saber is weakening. I can't trouble her by letting her know I've been kidnapped. I pull at my hands. Even if I am to run away, I have to do something about the rope tied behind my back first. The door opens. I release my power at the same moment as she walks in. You look cute in that outfit. Illy is acting totally different from before. Yeah, she's got like the two sides of her. Her cold eyes are gone, and the Ilya before me is the white girl who was talking to me in the park the other day. The white girl. That just sounds so funny. Yeah, we can talk. She looks at me, tilting her head. It looks like she's just worried about me. Yeah, she captured you for a play date, which is really just a fuck date, because you're about to fuck. I glare at Ilya. Damn, got him. I don't know if I should be thankful or not. But anyway, I'm starting to understand the situation I'm in. I say so sharply, killing my emotions. As long as I don't know the full details of the situation, I should listen for now. Well, this is that castle. Well, that's a problem.
俺を殺すんならあの公園でできたじゃないか。
なんで？私シロを殺す気なんてないよ。シロは私のだもん。他のマスターは殺すけどシロは特別。
Why is he special?
だから誰も邪魔が入らないようにシロをここに閉じ込めたの。
Interesting. What the fuck? What? I was joking. What the fuck? Why is she getting on his cock like that? I mean, she's not quite on his cock, but her hands are scarily close. I automatically lean back. Ilya puts her face close to mine as if not caring about my feelings.
Ilya, ちょっと。
I know it's indiscreet, but my heart's beating fast from the weight of Ilya on my legs. Bro's getting a boner. Even though she's not heavy, she feels so alive that I can't think straight.
やっぱりシロは特別。
It's also weird to see like an actual shot of Shiro like this. Very rare.
ねえ、私のサーバントになってみない？シロが私のサーバントになってくれるならもう殺さなくて済むわ。シロがうんって言ってくれればそれでシロだけは助けてあげるよ。
Damn. Here she goes again. This is nothing half-hearted. Ilya's words are so pure that I won't be able to take it back if I nod. And if I do betray her, all her purity will probably turn into hatred. Don't tell me I'm getting a choice. With Ilya so close to me, my confused mind freezes. This isn't just that she likes me. Ilya's question is asking me if I want to live or die.
考えるまでもないでしょ。シロにはもうセイバーはいないんだもの。戦う手段なんてないわ。
She's set up a position where you don't have a choice, but she gives you the choice anyways, because that's just who she is, right?
ならマスターでいてもしょうがないじゃない。
違う。セイバーはまだ消えていない。そんなことさせるもんか。
けどそんな状態じゃ簡単に殺されちゃうよ。いいからシロはここにいればいいの。シロがずっとそばにいてくれるなら私もずっとシロを守ってあげる。
Stay here in my castle forever as my little fuck toy, and I'll protect you forever. Ilya snuggles up to me, big air quotes there. I don't even have the freedom to push her away. I don't know what will happen if I disobey her. Oh, honestly, a similar thing to if you obey her. I think either way you're gonna meet a similar fate, and it's a dark fate. But apparently Ilya is at least 18 years old, according to this game. Because anime, even though this isn't anime, it also is anime, but not this specifically. But I still can't nod to Ilya's words.
ダメだ。離れるんだ、イリア。どんなに言われても俺は。
Ilya puts her finger up to my mouth. Oh god. She smiles and looks up at my bewildered face. What the fuck?
もう分かってないんだから。
Bro, she's literally about to like bite your dick off.
いい？今のシロはカゴの中の小鳥なのよ。生かすも殺すも私の自由なんだから、あんまり私を怒らせるようなことは言っちゃダメ。
She's not wrong.
10年も待ったんだもの。ここでシロを簡単に殺しちゃうなんて、そんなのつまらないでしょ。
What, did like Kiritsugu kill dad or whatever? Like what the fuck? That's the only thing I can think of. Her voice sounds like a girl who wants a toy. I gasp, sensing a cruelty that sends a chill up my spine.
これで最後だよお兄ちゃん。もう一度だけ聞いてあげる。
Maybe there's a deeper reason to why she calls him Oni-chan besides just being cute. Her eyes are full of hope.
シロ、私のものになりなさい。
I'm not gonna lie, that's really fucking hot. Like, of all the choices, I think Ilya's at the bottom. Even though I like her character, despite memes about me and very specific lollies, I'm not that much of a lolicon, but, exceptions can always be made. When they say, be mine, that's certainly a good start. Ilya says so, as if allowing no refusal. Bro, it's actually a choice! What the fuck? I mean, that's clearly what she's asking here. You know, this is actually a hard decision. I'm not even joking. Like, unironically, this is a very hard decision, and it's one that I'm gonna save for next time. And maybe you guys saw that coming, but I needed to get off of that picture. I was kind of getting sick of watching that fucking lolly riding our cock. Regardless, that was the 10th episode of our Let's Play of Fate Stay Night. That was a long one. I had like 2 great stopping points. The night and then after the King Arthur story. Either of those would have been phenomenal stopping points, and I just kept going because I just felt like it. And in the end, we actually found a great stopping point. But yeah, I don't even know. That was an awesome episode of Fate Stay Night. Just like the last one, I feel like this one felt even more important because we actually defeated Ryder and Shinji. We fucking learned who Saber is. Arturia, King Arthur. I mean, that's insane. I wasn't really necessarily expecting to learn that this soon. But things are fucking happening right now. Ilya's kidnapped us. She's trying to make us, like, fuck her. Or, like, she wants us to give her permission to, like, ride our cock. I don't even know. Like, I'm like, you guys say I'm memeing, but I don't even know if I'm memeing. Because lest you not forget, this is still apparently got sex shit in here. Apparently, supposedly it does. And it hasn't come up yet, so God only knows if it actually does. But so far, while it has not come up yet, it apparently does. And that'll be very interesting. If that ever does actually come up, what am I going to do? How am I going to go about that? And that'll depend probably on what it actually is. And I don't even know. There's so many ways I could tackle that. And we'll see. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll find out, I guess. But whatever the case may be, that was another tremendous episode of Fate. And just like the last one, it was incredibly important. It was incredibly exciting. I made sure to get through a lot of content so you guys could really enjoy it. And I feel like I stayed on track with it, although I guess I didn't spend a lot of time talking about specific things. But anytime I really feel the need to, you know, talk about something and just give my thoughts on something, I always do. But a lot of times, and this is kind of one of the things that I guess you guys, it's kind of a weird balance, but sometimes I get really invested and really engaged in the story, and I just want to keep seeing what happens. And that kind of happened in this episode where I probably missed, like I said, 2 really good stopping points just because I wanted to keep going a little further. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this game if that wasn't obvious, and I'm having a blast going through this journey. You know, this is a really iconic story, and it's been really good so far. I don't think it's been blow away good, but some of the character work has been absolutely phenomenal in this game. I'm not, like, I don't think this is trending towards masterpiece, but we're still so early on in Fate that we're still in the first route, which means we're still in the first third of the game. So there's so much more to go, and there's a whole, like, journey to try and put together and be like, how do I feel about it? Where do I land on this game? I won't be able to tell you until after we've played all 3 routes, of course, but so far I've really enjoyed the Fate route, and from my understanding, most people consider the Fate route the weakest of the 3. Now, I don't know how much of that is the visual novel or anime stigma, because I know that of the 3, the Because Heavensfield, I think, is 3 movies. Unlimited Blade Works is like, I want to say 2 seasons, and then the original Fate adaptation by Dean, which is the Fate route, is like 1. I don't know the specifics, but it's something like that. But whatever the case may be, I know that of the various adaptations, the least liked one I know for the anime is Fate. I'm not sure about the actual visual novel of what routes are preferred. I know Unlimited Blade Works is really beloved. I think both the visual novel route and the anime adaptation. And I don't really know at all about Heavensfield, but this is fantastic. This has been such a great journey, and it's crazy to think that we might actually be kind of getting a little close to maybe our first break. I definitely am excited for more, but the idea of being maybe a couple months away from a Fate break isn't the worst thing ever either, because as much as I am enjoying it, as much as I really love this game, I'm not looking forward to Unlimited Blade Works anytime soon, so it'll be nice to actually get to the end of the Fate route and then take a break from this game for a while. I think this structure is going to work perfectly, treating each route as its own game of Fate. But it is such a unique experience when you really don't know how far in you are. And that's something that's kind of very strange about the Fate Let's Play for me, compared to like Danganronpa, which, given the nature of the chapters and everything, it was very easy to tell how deep you were in, given the structure of the game. But for the most part, especially in the sequel, but in the first game even to some extent. But in this game, it's very hard to tell. But what I can tell is we are at least making some progress. We've taken Ryder and Shinji off the board, so that's actually real progress. And like I said, we got to see Excalibur in action. We learned Saber's true name, and we got to play with Ilya a little bit, which we will continue to do so in the next video. And I can't wait to see what that's all about. And even the logo of the Fate kind of gives me the vibes of the of Ryder's special attack a little bit. I'm sure that's not the point of that graphic, but you know, even that's cool. But anyways, I love this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed my this part of the Let's Play. If you guys want to support the channel, my Patreon's down below in the description, as is my Discord server if you want to check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those of you who have not yet decided, without any further ado, it is time for me to bid you adieu. Flamin' Shark signing out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.